Well, good evening to everyone, and welcome to the Same Old Arsenal USA. And as you can see, we are two people down. A little bit of an emergency in the background with the Bearded Gooner, who's lost his phone. So hopefully he'll be back and taking back his seat as the host shortly. And because he's not here at the moment, he can't let Glenn in if Glenn's out back. So you'll have to make do with the three of us.
Yeah, I didn't
until the Bearded Gooner returns. So to my left or to my right, I've not quite worked it out, is the bearded one, which is Ryan. How's it going, mate?
Good. We finally won a game. I'm it's gonna be exciting to talk about because definitely positives. We did win, we got 3 points, and there are some I don't want to say negatives because I'm not negative, and me and Tanner talked earlier after we both saw the game, and me and him are kind of going to butt heads. Maybe you guys feel the same way as Tanner. I don't know. I don't have too much negatives to say, but it's definitely going to be an interesting discussion regardless.
And I was going to say below me, our legal eagle, Rohan.
This is great.
But obviously a technical, obviously he's having a weak signal there in the back of his limousine. So he's probably gone through a tunnel. So let's start with the game that we won. What did you think of the lineup, first of all?
It was interesting. I was very excited about it. I saw we can't let you in, Rohan. Sorry. This is fantastic. Anyways, I was actually very excited about the lineup. I saw a lot of athleticism, a lot of young, new faces. Did not think Tomiyasu was going to start, but he did. He got the nod.
Really?
That was exciting. Yeah, he had like one day.
So who did you think would have started at right back ahead of Tomiyasu?
I don't know. I think that was very interesting in the fact that you have someone like Cedric who's kind of slowly being brought into the mix a little bit, not starting, but he's getting some game time because Chambers hasn't been playing so well.
Did you think that would go with the 4 at the back, or did you think he'd maybe do the 3?
No, I think we were always, which I would definitely talk about later, but I think we were always going for at the back. But yeah, I think there was a lot of options. You have Chambers, you have Cedric, and AMN as someone who was, left out in the cold and took the Instagram to voice his opinion, and apparently had cleared the air talks, and obviously it went well. He was starting center mid for us, yes, because of injuries and all of that good stuff. But there was, I was excited. I was excited for the young faces, and with the young faces, it brings me to my beer of the week. My beer of the week by Works Brewing Company. It's actually pretty cool. I like it.
Is it called
Blood of the Unicorn?
Oh, okay.
Unicorn covered in blood. And we needed that blood from said unicorn because our team was extremely young, and it was great. I liked watching us play. I personally thought we played well. Now with our game against Norwich, do I think we can make top 6? No, but people need to realize, there's levels and such baby steps that we need to take, with all these, all these new signings of, let's see, I could count probably on one hand how many players had their first game of the season with Arsenal against Norwich.
You mentioned that you were surprised that Tomiyasu started. What did you think of what you saw of him?
I'm excited. I really am. And I was tooting his horn, when we originally signed him on the show 2 weeks ago, and I just thought, if Arteta's going to win, if he's going to succeed here at Arsenal, Tomiyasu is the perfect signing. And I thought he was fantastic. He's a big guy. He's faster than people think. Good touch on the ball. He knows he's very defensive, which is something we need, especially since we did not sign a defensive midfielder, unless you want to count Granit Xhaka. But yeah, I was really impressed. And it's his first game, so you would like to think he'll only get better. But he also could be the Willian effect or the Danny Ceballos effect. I don't know. That gets me a little nervous.
Please don't say that.
Put it out in the world. But yeah, no, I was very impressed. The one thing I will say, like with his performance and being very excited for him, I feel for Callum Chambers because I think Callum Chambers should have been that guy. He should be that guy. Callum Chambers does everything Tomiyasu does or can do. He just can't. He's a bigger guy. He's quicker than people think. He's very defensive minded because he is a center back or a defensive midfielder for Fulham. So I was a little upset, and I've always been a fan of his, and he had a really poor start to the season. So it was. I was happy for Tomiyasu, but it's a shame about Chambers. But hopefully we could either work him in rotationally because I do think we need rotation. And we could, build from there.
So if you're just joining us, I see a few people coming in the chat box. The Bearded Gooner is just retracing his steps after walking his dog and losing his phone. And until he comes back, we can't let any of our other guys in because he's got the keys to the podcast. So you're stuck with the two of us for a moment, and we're just going over the lineup. I was like yourself, I was pretty impressed with what I saw from Tomiyasu. He didn't look too bad going forward either. I mean, there was a moment
he was
he almost scored. Yeah. So look at who else in the lineup. I mean, we almost had all of the new signings playing. What about Aaron Ramsdale in goal? Was you surprised to see that he got the nod ahead of Leno, or was you expecting that?
That's very interesting. I was a little surprised because I did think it was Leno's job to lose, and I personally don't think he lost it. He's not having the best season in 3 games, but I don't think he's been horrid. But I do understand, we did pay a lot of money to bring Ramsdale in. I think he needs minutes. I think he is the future at Arsenal, and Leno is not. And I think if you're gonna bring a keeper in at a time, get him minutes. I mean, to me, there's just no better time than to bring him for Norwich. But with that being said, I did hear rumors. I don't know if Chris Wheatley said it, or I definitely saw on Twitter. I can't verify my source, but apparently it's Ramsdale's job to lose now, and Leno's going to be chasing Ramsdale. So I think our lineup against Burnley is going to be very interesting. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see if we do play Leno. I wouldn't even go that far. I think when we play Scum down the road, I think whoever starts in net is, I think, the number one. Even though if Ramsdale does start against Burnley, you gotta say, yeah, it's probably his job to lose. But North London Derby, I don't know. It's going to be very interesting to see what.
I know it can be hard to judge, and we're only talking about one game. But looking at what that back line is now, and I would say the back 5, is that the back 5 that you want to see going forward? I mean, we haven't had any stability at the back for a while. I mean, I would love to see. There's obviously Partey starting because he didn't start in the last game, but I think that's probably the same team that I would like to see start against Burnley.
Yeah. I was really impressed by Ramsdale's performance. I got to be honest. I don't think he really had a lot to do on the day. He was very tidy with the ball. I mean, his little step over against Pookie was
My
nice.
heart skipped a beat, to be fair.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no.
It was nice, and I was happy. I was excited for him. And one thing he did, and it's one thing I will say to Leno's detriment, that he's not great. He's not great at really being vocal, and he's vocal after the fact. When a player, the team is pushing him to the ground, he's vocal after the fact. When the team's not showing any gusto, not moving for him, he'll show that at 70 minutes. I think Ramsdale is very vocal. He's a big goalie, and I'm excited for him. And I think that, I can't believe I'm saying this, my German brother, but I do think Ramsdale is probably the way to go. Because let's face it, I mean, you take last season out of the mix, because people say he was really bad. The whole team was bad. The team was terrible. You can't just shun Leno out because we happen to sell another keeper that window that happened to be under a microscope. But yeah, I do think that Leno's attitude has changed this season. And to be fair, I think, unlike a lot of fans, a lot of supporters, I think we, to an extent, kind of changed our focus. I think the likes of Leno, the likes of Partey, were brought in under the assumption, we're going to be in Europa. We're going to probably make a run at Champions League and do some things. But now, based on this like half season, half summer, January, we signed nothing but young leaders. No one really under the age. I think what our oldest signing was 23, was Ben White. So
yeah,
definitely changing it up a bit.
Or maybe Lokonga, no?
No, Lukonga's 21.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
yeah, of course. Sorry, you said the oldest, yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So I could see, Leno Partey. I mean, Partey. I haven't seen an attitude change, but I haven't really seen him play that much because he's been hurt. But I could see someone like a Leno being very sour, and his contract's about to end. He's probably
his contract's going till 2023. So we do hold the cards for another year, right?
I thought it was 2022. Okay,
yeah, no, it's 2023. So we hold the cards. He can't do nothing, and we make a move maybe next summer, right?
I like that. I do think he has his eye in the Bundesliga, and that's fine. That's totally cool. I think we can make some money off it, especially if his contract, like you said. I mean, that's fantastic. Yeah,
so by your thinking, then we don't see Leno now until the Wimbledon game, right?
I mean, between
unless Ramsdale has a big clanger in the Burnley game, and it's like of Runnison levels where he can never go and go again. Then you can stick with Ramsdale. Leno comes in for the Wimbledon game, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think Leno is going to play the Wimbledon game regardless. I think whether Ramsdale's great or whether he's shit, I think Leno is going to play the Wimbledon game. The scum game is going to be interesting. I don't know. It's a tall order to play a new keeper. I know keepers don't really need to adapt to systems and stuff. It's very different. But it's a big ask, for a guy who has been with nothing but relegation level teams, and you're whatever. We could say we want about Arsenal. We're 16th. I get that, but we're not a relegation team. I know fans want to joke around and say we are, but we're not. So, and this is a big game for us. Northern Derby is no joke. So if we do go with Ramsdale, Arteta must have a lot, and the team must have a lot of confidence around him. And to be fair, that'll give, I think, us, the supporters, a lot of confidence too.
Was there anything else about the lineup that you thought was a bit of a surprise, or is there anything that you may have done a little bit different? Was you happy that Aubameyang started through the middle? Was there a shout to perhaps have some, have Emil Smith Rowe in there? I mean, what was your thoughts on that?
So, when you look at our 11, I think the biggest thing to me when I first saw it, I saw it all like pinned out in the field.
AMN was in there, right?
Yes, I will get to AMN. But the one thing that really screamed at me, and it wasn't AMN, which surprisingly it was the second thing. The one thing that screamed at me when I looked at the lineup, one player does not fit the system, and that player is Aubameyang. So I was very interested to see what we were going to do. And
why did you say that?
What's
it about that game that you saw that you felt he didn't fit?
We had
a lot of shots in that game, right? If I remember rightly,
he did.
We had a lot of shots, but it was.
I'm pretty sure
7 on target.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure we had our most shots since Arteta came in as our manager.
I think it was something like 40 shots, 7 on target, which isn't great.
Yeah, no, but I mean, since Arteta's came,
so what did you throw going back there? Then what was it about Aubameyang where you think that he didn't quite fit?
I just think Aubameyang is a player that just wants to run out the balls, and we were still persisting with the Tierney crosses, which I will say I love Tierney. I don't know. Now that we're kind of like, now that I can see our midfield be athletic and carry the ball into the final third and like make forward runs and I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Tierney now. So much as a attacking from an attacking point. Just banging crosses in. I don't really think does the job for Abba. I think Lacazette just plays better with the team. He's better with the kids, and I think he's someone that's going to work hard for us. I think he could have done a really good job. I mean, we won, so I'm not going to go too much into it. But considering all of the runs that our team made it to the box. Saka, Odegaard. We saw later in the game. We made a lot of runs to the box. I'm sure Rohan would be very happy. I think if we had Lacazette, we probably could have capitalized a little more or had more chances. I think Aubameyang is a great player. I like it. You're yelling. Rowan's yelling at me apparently. Well, you can't get in, so
yeah.
You'll have to wait. I think Aubameyang did not have a bad. I thought he played well. I don't know. I prefer Lacazette with our lineup just based on what Arteta wants to do, and I think it just shows how.
But he's a Golden Boot scorer, right? I mean,
yeah, and that's what I was going to say. Is I feel like that shows that how good Aubameyang still is. He was making good runs. AMN really tried to, and that's the credit I'll give AMN. He really tried to get Aubameyang into the game, and Aubameyang did have a few shots on net, and I think he played well. And I think even when the system's against him, I still think that he's a player, and I think he's someone that we still probably need to persist with, because if Lacazette is not re-signing, what's the point in playing him? Aubameyang's probably going to be our guy. We might not see him against. We might not see him for Wimbledon. Maybe we'll see Lacazette for Wimbledon. I'm happy. I'm happy for Aubameyang, but that was one thing that screamed at me with Aubameyang starting off as our striker, even though we knew he was because he's our captain.
So the first half of the game for me, I felt with the first half of that game that towards the last 15 minutes of the first half and then going into the second half, and this is one of the negatives to me, it was that we looked like the away team.
Yep.
Against Norwich. Because this game for me it's like a Jekyll and a Hyde, right? Because just to say hello to everyone in the chat box who's joining, the Bearded Gooner will be here hopefully soon. He took his dog for a walk, lost his phone, so he's retracing his steps. And until he gets back into the hosting chair, we can't let anyone else in. So you're stuck with Tweedledum and Tweedledee. And I've got to tell you, we've only been doing it for 70 minutes. And then I'm like, while you're talking, Ryan, I'm just thinking of questions.
It feels like you're doing this for an hour. I'm like, come on.
18 minutes. I'm like, right, it's going to be the shortest show ever. Bye. See you later. So yeah, I just, going back to the game, I kind of felt that we were like looking like the away team playing at home and like against a team like Norwich. Because I say this game for me was a bit of a Jekyll and a Hyde, because if you look at, on the one side of the coin, if you look at all of the new signings that we played, they all played very well. I liked what I saw. There was no one there that I was thinking, they all had quite a good showing, but there was still something missing in that game. Do you know what I mean? There's still something. You're looking at the game and you're thinking, okay, we won. It was a scruffy goal, and I'll take it. But there's still something that was missing, even though all of those new signings, they made a good account of themselves. I felt Ramsdale, Tomiyasu, Sambi Lokonga. I mean, he looks like he's been doing it in the Premier League for quite some time.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go on.
No, I agree. I think it's crazy to say this. Trying to work my way through this. I think as individuals, I think everyone put in a shift. Everyone played well. Honestly, if I had to pick someone who for the if I had to pick the weakest link, but I wouldn't even say this player was the weakest link. I would have to actually, sorry to say this, but I'd say Saka. I think Saka disappointed me a little bit at times. But again, I think individually, I think we did a good job. Now, I think stringing that all together, being clinical, putting those shots away, and then I think is a different story. I like what I saw. Again, it's baby steps. I didn't expect us to run Norwich out 5-0 with these new signings, with a whole new 11. This 11's never played together. I did not expect that. And if you did, then I don't know what to tell you. You're going to be probably pretty unhappy until at least January, maybe December. But yeah, I think that we did a lot of positivity, a lot of forward running, and that's I saw a lot of AMN was getting a lot of shtick. Halftime, I looked at some people giving their halftime thoughts. I saw people after the game, and everyone was like talking about AMN. And another thing, back to the lineup, sort of. AMN, I was surprised in the fact that on Instagram a couple weeks ago, he was saying, "Help, help! I need help! I'm drowning." To now, starting in the center in the center. So I thought that was very interesting.
How do you think he did? How do you think he did in his favoured position, right? Because he played at right back as well. Personally, I thought he looked better there.
I agree. I think he looked better at right back. He did seem a little, almost like you always have, coaching. A women's team I coach. We tend to, in the midfield, we tend to move pieces around. We move players around a lot, and every now and then you'll get a player that'll you'll just see them like stop, and the gears start turning their head, and she'll be like, "Wait, am I supposed to be? I'm supposed to be here? Like this is my position." I saw that with A&M. I was like, "Oh wow, I'm in the middle of the field. Like, this is where I'm supposed to be? Like I'm on the right side of the field. I'm in the middle." So I think I saw that a few times, like some brain farts. But I love the fact that he was not afraid to carry the ball through the middle of the field, and everyone talks about this donut of sadness, this donut of despair, how we just pass it around the shoehorn. A&M didn't do that. I mean, yes, he did pass sideways and backwards, just like everybody else, but he was willing to make those forward passes. He was willing to carry the ball into the final third, and that's something we've never had. And he was trying his hardest to get Aubameyang into the game. Were his passes pretty crap? Yeah, they were pretty bad. He made a few really bad passes, but like you could tell, you could see what he was trying to do. You could tell where his IQ was and what he was thinking. And I thought he did a really good job in just, the IQ side of things, and the way he tried to get Aubameyang involved and giving him chip shots and behind the defender balls. I was definitely happy. And is A&M going to get us top 4? Probably not in that position. I don't think so. Is he an upgrade on Xhaka? If you say no, I'm going to fight people. He's definitely an upgrade on Xhaka just based on the game alone, because he's willing to carry that ball into the final third. He's more athletic. He's quicker. He's a better defender than Xhaka. You could probably, give Xhaka the pass. His passing may be a little better than A&M, but I don't really care. I think Lokonga's passing is so good. And Partey, as people said already in the chat, Partey's pass to Saka changed the game. It did. So, why is everyone persisting with Xhaka in the lineup? We have Partey, who's a good passer. Lokonga has shown he can pass the ball. I think having an athletic, defensive-minded player in the middle of the field, I think, can bode well for us. Now, again, do I want him to start every game? I do not. I think we still need an upgrade. But it's definitely refreshing seeing the ball being carried to the middle, seeing us make plays through the middle of the field, which we normally don't do. We're a very left-sided biased team, and seeing us play more on the right too. Pepe created the most chances out of everybody in the entire game. So it was a breath of fresh air.
So it's going to be interesting to see then, because in a way, it's a blessing in disguise that Xhaka can't play by enforcement. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if Sambi Lokonga continues to play in the manner that he has played, and it goes back to pre-season as well, that he started, he was looking good as well, then I don't see how Xhaka walks back into the team, to be honest with you. And I know that Adu said that in his interview that Lokonga he said he's the next one behind Xhaka and Partey. If either one of them are injured or can't play or are being rotated, then Lokonga comes in. But if he's going to stake a claim for himself, I just don't see how Xhaka can walk back into the team.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm for so many reasons, I am super nervous, and I know, sometimes the starting 11 doesn't always tell the game. And I think this game proves it. I think when you see the starting 11, where's ESR? Where's Partey? Like Ramsdale? Like, oh no. But it's not about that. You starting the game is I think almost ending the game is almost more important than how you start the game, because usually the game is dictated at the very end of the game. It's
pretty bright, I thought. I just thought that last 15 minutes or so before the half ended, we just kind of really let it go. And if somebody had just tuned in, Norwich looked like the home side.
I agree. I was pleasantly surprised watching that first 10 minutes, and I counted. It was at minute 8. I think it was 8:48 on the clock. Was the first time Norwich had possession in our half of the field.
Okay.
And we were pressing them for almost 9 minutes, or I guess it would be almost 10 minutes. But we brought it to him. We were playing great, and I think once Norwich got a taste, once they had that, we have a chance. I think then we were kind of like, I think in respect to them, I think we were like, oh wow, they had a taste. Like let's hang out, let's chill a little bit. They could score here, and it could be Arsenal all over again, where we play well for 10, 15 minutes, and the team scores a fluke goal, and that's it, game over, we lose. So I think I saw that creeping in a little bit, so we were a little more defensive.
Just a question for everyone: when is Jack due back? When is he due back? Because I see Lawrence Emmanuel saying that Arteta in charge, he guarantees that Jack will start against Burnley ahead of Sammy, but he's still out, right? He's out. For 2 more league. He's out for the North London derby as well, right?
Yeah, that's his first game back.
That's a blessing in disguise.
But that's my point. What I was trying to say was I am so nervous to see our starting 11. And again, like I said, the Norwich game, I really wanted to start to play. He came on the field, and I think he's one of the better players, if not the best player, once he came on the field. And Partey changed the game, obviously, too. So the starting 11 always doesn't tell the story, and you don't need to rely on the starting 11 to dictate the entire game. But with that being said, I am super nervous. My butthole is puckered right now, and it will be until we release the 11 against North London Derby. Because if Xhaka starts,
is he back for that game?
Yeah, that's his first game back. That's his
first game back. Oh, okay. I thought that was his last one from his suspension.
Yeah, because so he was out Norwich, Burnley, Wimbledon. Because that counts.
They count the Wimbledon game.
Domestic Cup, yeah, they count.
Right. Bollocks.
So it's I feel like, at least me, I'm constantly testing Arteta. My first test for him was Aubameyang's out, Lacazette out. Who are you going to give the armband to? This is the passing.
The excuse will probably be right that week. Oh, well, I played Lokonga midweek in the cup game, so that'd be the excuse, right? That'd be the excuse. I got to rotate. That would be the excuse. He couldn't play. He played midweek,
But and that could very well much happen. But then, if we, in obviously a perfect world, we beat Burnley, we beat Wimbledon. Xhaka's nowhere to be seen. We play the scum, and then we lose, or tie, don't play well. How many lives is he gonna have? I genuinely just don't know. Because again, like I said before, the first test for me was the Xhaka getting the armband. Okay.
Man's got more lives than fucking Doctor Who.
Yeah, you fail, and now you're gonna come back from 3-game suspension, where we don't know. We could shit the bed against Burnley. Our midfield can get overrun. Wimbledon could be a scary sight. We don't know, but I mean, I would like to think an athletic midfielder. I'm not saying AMN should start against Burnley, but with a more athletic midfield, like a Partey Lokonga, which is probably
he should be starting against Burnley now, right? He's played behind closed doors in under 23. He's he should be starting in the next game now. He's had rest, so all being well, then it's got to be a Lokonga and Partey partnership, right? I can't wait to see that.
I'm excited for the Burnley game, and I think that athleticism alone, that changing.
So London Lone Star's asking Rohan to see if he can call and check on the Bearded Gooner, but he ain't got a phone, has he? He's looking for his phone. That's why he's not here.
This is fantastic. So I think that athletic. I can't even say that. I'm slurring my words. That athleticism alone, I think will keep Xhaka at bay, unless again Arteta being stubborn, saying, nope, Xhaka's my guy. We gave him an extension. We increased his wages. This is it.
Oh, do you know what I read today, though? I read a tweet today that said, I can't remember who sent it out, but it was something along the lines of Roma was still interested in Xhaka, are going to come back in January.
Yeah. Come.
Yeah. I retweeted it with 3 of these emojis, the praying one.
Yeah, I mean, it's... And you would think he's gonna. I guess it came down to us. We didn't receive a proper fee, but you would think with Lokonga really coming on, and if we need, AMN could be there because we've obviously started him. So obviously we see him as a potential asset in the middle of the field, and Elneny should be back. So
my only issue is though if they did sell. I know we're looking ahead though. I know if they did sell Xhaka in January, then the club would have to get off their asses and they would have to bring someone else in. And sometimes I just think they're a bit lazy about all of that. Do you know what I mean? It's all,
I agree.
they'll be like, oh, can't you ask to do it in January? Let's wait till the summer. That's not the way to think.
Yeah, Chris Wheatley did tweet out that in January, our priorities, or I guess going forward, but I'm assuming, I think we'll make at least one signing. Our priorities are a striker and a defensive-minded midfielder. So I don't know if that's what Arteta wants to do, because as we've seen, Arteta really doesn't play with a defensive-minded midfielder, just by selling Torreira or loaning him out. So I think that buy is going to be very interesting. But yeah, I would. Sorry, Rohan, but I would really like to see. I would like to see us bring in a young striker.
Oh, that's a good point. Lane started saying, yeah, but if he calls a Bearded, he might hit a ring. Don't think of that. Can you imagine that if he rings him, and he hears it ringing, and it's like it's in his dog. Yeah. One of his dogs ate his phone.
I'll show you. Tanner had me call his phone. Let's see if I can do this here. Oh shoot, I gotta go to it. I left him 34 missed calls. Me calling him. He's like, call. He goes, call my phone. I'll see it. Yeah, well, guess what? I did all this. Every second. He hung up, I did it. So, yeah, I mean, well, maybe, Rohan, maybe it'll work.
So when did we score in the second half? When was it? What, do you remember the time?
66, the 66 minutes.
60-odd minutes.
Yeah.
Any thoughts on the goal? I mean, just before we get to the goal, I want to say something as well. I mean, I tweeted out near the beginning of the game, and I think it was before that last 15 minutes of the first half that I mentioned, and I tweeted out that Pepe really looked on it today. But as the match went on, my timeline looked to be really split down the middle when it came to Nicolas Pepe. There seemed to be like 50% of them were saying that he was dog shit and he should have got substituted. Should have went off. How come he's still on the pitch? The other half, I don't know what you guys in the chat box think about Pepe. I'd be interested to know whether you thought Pepe had a good performance in the last game, because it really was down the middle. The other half was saying that, one of the best players. And my thing is with Pepe is that if you leave him out or you take him off, where we are at the moment, that's goals gone. After Lacazette and Aubameyang, who in the team do you look to for goals?
So it's interesting. So I watched the game on tape delay. I watched it a little late. So I'm really mad about that, because I really want. I mean, I was at work. I can't help it. But I really wanted to live tweet this game, because Pepe is the most frustrating player. I think, in my opinion, he's the most frustrating Arsenal player to watch, and he's been like that probably since he really kind of came onto the scene, because when you look at stats, he created the most chances in that entire game. I think it was 6. I think he created 6, which is phenomenal. It's great. But then when you watch him play, it's just like he just dribbles so much, and he tip, and he loses the ball. And I do want to give a shout out. I do want to give credit. Brandon Williams, on loan from Manchester United, played the best game he'll ever play. He was great. He was their best player by a long shot. He stuffed Pepe, and he did a really good job defensively. He made a goal line clearance. He made a few clearances that got him excited. He has fist pumped like he scored a goal. So definitely a shout out to him. But he did keep Pepe at bay. But Pepe was still getting in dangerous areas. He was getting the ball, and it was good for him, because he had Tomiyasu, he had AMN. He's not used to this, and it really helped him out. And I would really like to see us, experiment with that more. When AMN, I think it was Sheffield 2 seasons ago, or might have been early last season, AMN was our right back. Pepe was the right winger. Pepe had the best game he's played in Arsenal. Why? Because AMN he opens up the field. Pepe wants to cut inside. Yeah. AMN's willing to get chalk on his boots. And Tomiyasu is just defensive minded as all get out, and I think he does get quite up the pitch. Though I thought that I was shocked. I don't know anything about Tomiyasu, but just from what I'd been reading, I had the feeling that you wouldn't see him venturing too far up, but he was up there, wasn't he? Yeah, I think we were pressing Norwich from the jump. I think we were. Odegaard was all over. Odegaard.
Before we go to him, let me press you a little bit more on Nicolas Pepe. Yeah. So let me just be a little bit more definitive. Do you? From what you saw, would you say that you thought he had a good game? For me, can Can Nicola Pepe be what I would call that maverick player where he misses the ball, he lets a pass, he's a bit loose on the pass, he might not track back, but then in the 65th minute, he'll do something and it will lead to a goal. Do you know what I'm getting at?
Yeah, it just goes back to my thing where he's the most frustrating player to watch. He really is. I have 1 minute where he's scoring goals for fun and he's just finessing the ball into the top corner with his left foot, or he's just dribble, step over, and then he loses the ball outside the 18-yard box, which he did that too. I don't know, like to be honest, watching the game live, didn't look biased. I personally thought he got into really good positions. I thought he played well. I just thought Brendan Williams was just on him. I thought Brendan Williams just played so well and really shut Pepe down. And I was more frustrated with Pepe more than anything. Like, oh, come on, like do the same thing over and over again. Like get in, like do something.
What's he missing for you? What is it that he's not doing, or something that he needs to really work on? Because for me, he was. I mean, when he first came to us, right, he was more one-legged than Tony Turner. We all know that, right? However, he's worked really hard. I think when people say to me, "So, who do you think's one of our, what players improved since Arteta's been here?" I'd have to say Nicola Pepe, because he does take opportunities now on his other peg, on his right peg, and he scored a few. Squirrel. Tony's in the house. All right, Tony. I say his name and he appears.
Yeah.
So
didn't have to say it 3 times, just once.
Candyman. So what do you reckon about that?
Yeah, I don't know, because I think I am a big fan of Pepe. Well, he is.
What's he got to do though in your eyes? What's he missing for you, or is he not missing? Is that just the way?
I don't know. Again, it's very hard to answer, because I'm as frustrating as he is to watch. I'm a huge fan of his. And I think he does a lot of good things for us. He's chaos. He's a maverick. He is something we need in a very structured system. He's something we needed against a team very structured like Norwich.
Because it's when you say that, because I think that I've always felt that Pepe and Martinelli are the two mavericks in our team, the way that they play. And I've always thought whether you can afford to play two mavericks in the same 11. So that's an interesting point that you say that, and I think that you need to have a maverick in your team. Alexis Sanchez was that for a while, right?
Yeah,
he could disappear out of games for quite a while, and then all of a sudden, a piece of magic.
I know, especially Rohan's not going to want to hear this. I think Pepe's biggest weakness. I don't want to say it's his biggest weakness. I don't know how to word this. I think the worst thing for Pepe is playing with Aubameyang. I think they cannot play together. I just don't like the way they're both chaos. They both like to run to the balls. They want to create their own shots. They want to create their own stuff. For Arsenal Football Club right now,
I remember you talking about this before.
For Arsenal to succeed at full capacity, whatever you want to call it, 100%, I think Pepe needs to play without Aubameyang. And I'm not saying Aubameyang's really bad. I'm not saying Pepe's really bad. I don't think they play well together. I think someone like Lacazette is going to greatly benefit Pepe, because when Pepe played well, when did he play so well for us? Yes, I get it. Europa League, it's less competition, but he was getting more opportunities. He was getting into better areas. He was shooting from like right inside the 18-yard box, and that's something that Aubameyang does, And yeah, thank you, Rohan, with a nice firm no. And that's fair, but I think Pepe is going to play better with Lacazette, and I really like Pepe's. And I guess I'll go along with that. If you really want me to, if taking Aubameyang out of it, which I think is his biggest weakness, is playing with Aubameyang, I think his game IQ could be a lot better. I think he tries to do too many step overs against the box, and the Premier League is a little different. Premier League, you have big guys are faster. They'll put you on.
So part of me wants to say maybe he'll grow out of that and adjust his game, but he's 26 now, Nicola Pepe. He's not one of the kids.
Yeah, I don't see him fixing that. I think his game IQ will get better, and that could get better. But as far as just what he does in the field, the step overs and constant dribbling, I don't think that's really ever going to leave him. But yeah, it's Pepe is he's such a strange player because for me, any game, if he had a good game, I think you'll find you'll always find bad parts of Pepe's game every time you watch him play.
If you're gonna make a reel of Pepe and you thought, right, I'm gonna make a reel to show you all this bad stuff, you could go to one game and you could get stuff out of it, and then you could say, right, I'm gonna make a stuff of some of the good stuff, and you could probably go back to the same game and get footage from that.
Yeah, and it's crazy because, like I said, if people, I saw this obviously after the fact. People were saying, "Oh, he was man of the match," and I was like, "What? Okay." But then when you look at stats, he
was your man of the match, incidentally.
Honestly, that's very tough. I mean,
let us know in the chat box who you
I'm
man of the match.
I'm very curious because usually I find a man of the match. I find a player and I'm like, this is it, stone cold, flag. I really can't find one. I think Partey's pass changed the game. I think ESR was our best player when he came on, but in my opinion, I feel like that's such a cop out picking them because they only played for about a half hour. But I guess I was most impressed with would probably be Tomiyasu, to be honest. I would probably give it to Tomiyasu.
Lone Star's going with Aubameyang. Iron Matty's going with Gabriel. BX Gunner 81's going with Tomiyasu. Tony's in there with Sambi. And the thing is with this one, it was one of those games where everybody was kind of playing. If you looked at the numbers, they'd probably all be around the same kind of a number, right? The average was probably about a 6 or a 7. Do you know what I'm getting at? There was nobody that was really below that. There was nobody that was really ahead of that. So quite hard to. Mike Hertz has gone in with Odegaard, who I'm going to come on into a minute. If you've got nothing else to say about Pepe, that is, because Odegaard for me, he's a player that I've got really high hopes for him. I've watched some documentaries about him. For some reason, they were filming him when he was a kid, and they've made documentaries. Yeah. They were filming him since he was a kid, and they've been watching this kid perform all the way through now. And I think that is going to be really, really good for us. However, what's happened?
I have confirmation as of 10:44 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tanner has retrieved his phone.
Okay.
So anyone that was worried, sick, was calling their parents, asking for help.
Putting pictures of Tanner on milk cartons. Don't worry. In a few moments, 2 shall become 3. And then if Rohan's still there and the Bearded Gooner's got his keys, 3 will become 4 with Rohan. No sign of Glenn, though. No sign of Glenn. We'll have to look into that.
Glenn, you could replace Glenn on that, and Glenn could be on the.
But I just want to say about Odegaard, as much as I'm a really big fan of Martin Odegaard, he done that thing that it's like I don't know if it's something that he brought with him or it's that Arsenal thing that he's already picked up. There was one moment where he was in the penalty box and he had his right shoulder facing the goal and a player there, and he had the ball on his he kind of dragged the ball round, and all he had to do was take a shot and try and take a shot for goal. But he spent like a nanosecond looking for that pass again, looking for another pass instead of going for the shot, and the ball got picked off his toe, and then they went off with the ball. And this is something that I have seen so many times with Arsenal. I mean, we always used to say, right? I mean, you can't literally try and walk the ball into the net. Sometimes you've got to just try and bang it in. And it does concern me. Lone Star's concerned about the whereabouts of the bearded one. I was concerned, he's saying, but I hope this is something that I'm not going to start seeing again, because we used to see a lot of that tippy-tappy stuff with Wenger, and they're like trying to pass the ball around within the penalty area. Just take the shot. Just take the shot. And it worried me when I saw that. However, I'm really pleased with him. I think there's going to be other games where you will see ESR start. You will see him start ahead of Odegaard. You need someone to have a bit of rotation in there. Glenn, higher than the Empire State Building. Large Marge unhappy. So what did you make of what Odegaard brought to the game?
So I like I see it's funny we talk about Pepe and if for me what would need to be improved would probably be his football IQ. I think Odegaard has almost in it to an extent, almost too much. Like he tries to do too much in the field. I thought he tried to do too much against Norwich. And I know me and Mike.
Hold on, hang on. Ian Matty says, "Oh, he's not comfortable with his right foot," but the way where he was, it was on his better foot. His right shoulder was to the goal, and he kind of half dragged the ball round. And I thought to myself, just take the shot. Here he is. Right, everyone. Thank you for joining the show tonight. Just want to say goodbye, Ryan. Your final word.
Yeah, the show was awesome. We talked a lot about
freaking. I'll be right back.
We're done, man. That's it. It's all done.
We talked about the game. We talked about every 11. It was a task, Tanner.
That's in the can, man. One take stand, they call me.
Oh, here we go. Intermission.
They call me one take stand. You know that.
But no, with Odegaard, so Odegaard was weird, and I just, and I'm sorry to Mike, my spirit animal. We usually agree on pretty much everything. I did not think Odegaard was anywhere near man of the match. I didn't think he played bad by any stretch of the imagination. I just think he tried to do too much with the ball. He tried to do too much. He tried to force his my brain. I just farted where he tried to be fancy with it in the box with Saka, and it worked. It worked against West Brom, but he tried it like 2 or 3 times in this game, and it just wasn't working. And I don't know. For me, I think Odegaard is the type of player that. And we as fans, and I know I'm channeling Rohan right now, and I could hear him saying this. Our problem for a long time was just we're not getting players in the box. It's just not working out. I think with Odegaard, he's a player that I don't really want him in the box. I want him right outside the top of the 18, like right in that half, that semi.
Unless he's going to take a shot, right? Unless he's going to go for it.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I think we need creativity. We don't really need him for his final touch, I don't think, it's tough to say this because we lack creativity, and an assist and a goal is gold right now. But I don't know. I think Odegaard is best suited as like a pre-assist guy. And I think he's someone that should be like right to the box, makes the final pass, and then either that player makes his own shot, or that player would then pass for a tap in for maybe Aubameyang or something like that. But I like Odegaard. I think he's gonna be great for us. I think he's doing a good job for us. His pressing against Norwich was. I was clapping. I was clapping watching Odegaard. He honestly
that meme of Charlotte Buff.
Yes, he was running around like an El Neni, and everyone says gives El Neni shit, but that's the one thing. El Neni runs around with his head cut off, pressing, and that's something Odegaard did for almost 90 minutes, and I was very impressed with that. And I do like what he brings to his team, and when him and Saka can like consistently link up. Teams are gonna be scared of us, and I know you can quote me on that. Teams will be scared of us. The problem is, I don't think Odegaard and Saka they didn't link up today, or for this game, and I think that's why for me they were the two players that are on like the weaker side of the batch. Not to say they played poor. It's just sometimes things don't happen. You just don't connect, and I think that was an issue for me.
So Tanner, you let Rohan in. Is that Rohan joining us? All right, Rohan, come in, man.
Let me have it.
I don't know if you're back with us, Tanner, in the chair. You'll probably be back in a minute. Rohan, how's it going, mate? What have you been up to? You're on mute, man. Come on.
Yeah.
You've had all that time to prepare, man.
Yeah, no, because I was watching you guys here, and then I had my phone on YouTube, and then
I was Tanner. Was you up in the helicopter looking for Tanner?
Tanner
looking for his phone too.
Tanner's phone. Yeah. No, so last week was great. I was in Europe last week, traveling there. I put in the comments as well. I was in Stuttgart, so Ryan's happy. I overtook the Stuttgart fan bus, like the football team fan bus. That was exciting. So yeah, and the game, we got 3 points, scored a goal. Who scored that goal, Ryan? Who scored that goal?
It was Odegaard, right?
Is the guy you don't want in the team. That guy. Without whom you still had 0 goals.
No, that's a very strong don't want as opposed to we have better.
Or someone else would have scored the goal because whoever was there instead of him would have been in the same place and put the ball in the net.
That's
But
the one thing
anyway,
I give. That's the one thing I will.
And he would have been in the halfway line.
I see a 1-0 win. I see a 1-0 win in 4 games has everyone sucking each other's dicks again. So great.
Hey, listen.
Let us live, man.
To be fair, I was always sucking dicks, so you can't.
This is very true.
Come on.
Very true.
You got to give me that. You got to give me that.
Very, very true. Cannot wait for your bachelor party because it's going to be the first blowjob I've gotten, and I couldn't tell you how long. Anyway, sorry guys.
How's it going, Tanner? Did you found your phone?
Got the phone. Shout out to a lovely young woman who happened to be out walking her dogs, not far behind me, but I was without of earshot. She found my phone. And then patiently waited outside for me to return looking for it. So big shout out to her.
Why did you pick up one of my 34 calls?
I don't know. The ringer's on. So, but
Whatever,
alas, I got the phone back. My oldest dog has a...
I know why I didn't answer. It's called ghosting.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
My oldest dog has a cyst on her left hind quarter that she has now licked open. So she's got a solid 1/2 inch hole basically.
All right.
On her side right now. So I'm trying to keep an eye on that without her, without that getting infected and her licking at it more, and I got to clean it every 5 minutes. Oh,
wait,
so
isn't a dog's mouth like the most?
Well, yes, but
good.
The problem is that it's open right now, and I don't have any way of packing it.
Like cone, like put a cone on her thing so she can't lick it. Like
if I would have had a cone or been able to find one today, it's actually a great idea for someone who doesn't have a dog. But no, I'm being serious. Like kudos to you.
Have you not got a spare lampshade?
There's one right behind him.
Yeah, right. The problem is it's got that little ring at the top, and I can't fit that over her head. It'll fit over her nose, but that's about it. So, oh, gentlemen, it has been it has been a week. Let me tell you. So,
I'm ready, Tanner.
Yeah. So what's everybody been talking? I mean, look, you guys have done a fantastic job here. I'm here to hang out and bullshit and I'm going to be the Debbie Downer tonight. So,
well, you missed my PowerPoint presentation that I gave to Stan.
I've got to say, I'm really glad you're back, Tanner. I was running out of questions, right? I'm asking questions, and while he's answering, I'm not even listening. I'm trying to think of more shit.
Nice.
I'm going to fucking end the show after like 20 minutes.
But yeah, you missed the PowerPoint presentation that I just gave to Stan, which he was obviously not paying attention now that I found out. 10 facts on how we're going to win the league this year. And you missed it. And it was all because of the Norwich game 1-0. And it was such a fantastic presentation that nobody will ever see ever again because you missed it.
Ryan was about to get out an overhead projector.
Pull one down.
Can't tell you how glad I am that I missed all of this. Believe me. No,
I don't think I was that positive, but
it's
go. Being negative, yell at you. Come on, I'm ready.
It's perspective. That's all. And look, you know what? It's a step in the right direction, right? I mean, let's it's a step in the right direction. It's a win. It's a goal. It's 3 points. But like I said to you over the weekend, let's keep our pants on here. Right.
And then one thing I will say real quick, I'm sorry I'm interrupting you, but the one thing I will say is, and I said this to Stan earlier, if people thought we were going to turn Norwich over and beat them 4-0, 5-0, like, come on. And I think, and I'm not saying you thought that, I'm not saying you, but I'm saying there are fans there that were like 1-0 to Norwich, the worst team in the Premier League. We're terrible. It was Norwich. Like, stop. Like, I don't know. I
think that you're right. If you really thought, yeah, we should destroy them 4 or 5-0. Look at this team. This team just isn't going to do that. It's not built to do that. It's not coached to do that.
And we could have.
What's that?
I think we could have. I think and Lone Star.
But see,
giving me credit, Lone Star. He did. Norwich played well. Let's not like we were terrible.
Okay. Hang
Norwich
on.
played well.
Here's the problem. Here's where we're at.
Brandon Williams played well. Probably what
we have these illusions of grandeur that we can be a top 6 club. That these players can be a top 6 group, and now we're giving credit to what now is the worst team in the Premier League, saying, but they played well, so they so the result was well earned to a degree, if that's the right way to put it on there. No,
I didn't say that.
No, this is just where we are. This is just where we are as a club, as a team, where beating Norwich 1-0, that's our level. At home, beating them 1-0, that's our level. And eventually we were unlucky. We could have scored 4 or 5. The fact is, we've been saying we could have scored 4 or 5 for a fucking year. At some point, we could have, we should have becomes, we're just not that good. We're just not that side that's going to score 4 goals on our own without the other team dropping trowel and shitting on the pitch.
No, I agree. And I said this to Stan. I said, is this team right now that just beat Norwich 1-0, is it going to get us top 6? I said no. I said, no, it's not.
Right.
But what is it? 6 players had their first game of the season for Arsenal? Like, you come on. You can't, you cannot expect
6.
It was a lot. It wasn't, all right, fuck me, it wasn't 6.
It was in the league or in general?
No, in this league. So yeah, let's count. Let's do numbers here. Tomiyasu, Ben Gabriel. Well, I'm gonna include Ben White because he played 1 game with Mari. So
he played. No, that game counts. It counts. That's
here we go. You're gonna mince my words up. You're gonna mince. Them
no. You said played their first game.
Okay, fine.
In the stats column where it says games played, it says 2 for Ben White, not 1.
Finger my ass in the bathroom after I say this. Ready? It was the first time this 11 has played together. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
I do not expect.
You change one person, then it'll be the first time that the next.
Right. Yeah. Wait till Saturday when Pablo Marie comes back into the fold.
Ramsdale starting in net, which people didn't expect. AMN starting in center midfield. I don't care if Elneny and Jack aren't there. Doesn't matter. That was still a surprise to many. Tomiyasu, who just got back from China like a couple days ago. I think he trained 1 day, maybe 2 days with us. Lukonga is pretty much the senior player in the middle of the field, which we didn't. I personally didn't. We knew he was going to play. Yeah, but it was Amen's first game for Arsenal in that position.
Yeah.
So there was a lot, and I didn't think we'd play Pepe, but we did. I'm not saying it was a bad move, but I'm just saying there was a lot of, I thought, craziness, and I think we played well. I think we did things that you, Tanner, hate. You hate. I said this to Stan. I was like, the donut of sadness, the donut of despair. There was no donut, or if it was a donut, it was a Boston cream. There was cream in the middle, and we were pushing it forward because AMN was carrying that ball into their third. He was doing it. There's video evidence. You can go check it up if you want. Lukonga was making good passes. And I said this earlier, and I would hope Rohan could give AMN a little credit. AMN did try to get Aubameyang into the game as much as he could. He failed. He fell on his face quite a number of times doing it. But, and Rohan might disagree with this, but I do think Aubameyang is the one player that does not fit this system. And for AMN to just still force that ball, because AMN obviously trusts Aubameyang. He sees Aubameyang as one of the better players on the team, which I don't disagree with. I think considering the cards that were stacked against Aubameyang, considering he doesn't fit the system, and I don't think he can play with Pepe. I'm sorry, Rohan. I think Aubameyang played well, and I was excited, and I hope that we could build on that.
Yeah, there was effort, there was pace, there was tracking back, there was shots, everything from Aubameyang, and he, in my opinion, is still, if he can show what he showed in that game in every other game that we play now, he's going to get 20 goals, and that's going to go a long way in our bid for top 6 if we are to make that. And what I really loved was that we didn't stick to just wanting to play, the U shape and just try to pass again and again. The most exciting bit came when Tierney just went to the ball. It was their attack, and then Tierney went to the ball and just lobbed it forward. And Aubameyang went. I don't know why he took that shot from that far, like 35 yards or something. He could have cut inside, but that was great play, and that's what we can do, right? Like that's sometimes teams need to accept that they're just not. This Arsenal team is not that the previous Arsenal team that could slice through defenses like a hot knife through butter, right? Like this is just not that team. We're more Liverpool.
I couldn't disagree with that statement more, Rohan.
Because we don't do it, right? We pass sideways. We
just right because we don't do it doesn't mean that we can't do it.
Maybe we can. Like, I mean, everybody.
But we've never done it. So why would you? Like, I don't understand what you're
saying. Because they're not coached to do that.
Correct. So there's no evidence that they can do it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
West Brom, granted opposition, I get it, but
I don't. You know what? And I'm going to say this, and everyone can yell at me, and I don't care. We did not play any different against West Brom than against Norwich. The difference was we scored. Let me finish. The difference was we scored early against West Brom. We realized, wow, this team actually sucks, and we just didn't give a shit. We were like, fuck it. But we played the same.
Okay, wait.
West Brom were not good. West
Brom played five minutes ago, you were sucking Norwich off, saying how well they played, and now you say they suck. Which is it?
What do you mean? I didn't say I said West Brom sucked.
No.
I didn't say Norwich sucked.
But you said I'm pretty sure you said Norwich sucked.
No, I said West.
Maybe you did.
West Brom sucked. I said no. I said once we scored one against West Brom, the players were like, "Oh wow, this team sucks," and then they were just like, "Cool, we're just gonna keep doing what we're doing." I was happy when we beat West Brom. I celebrated it. It was a win. We move on in a cup. We beat Norwich. I don't give a fuck how bad they are, standings wise and all that crap. But I celebrate like a win. But facts are facts. We played a West Brom team that half of them probably had to go to school the next day. So I don't know what you want me to tell you. Like it is what it is. But I think we played the same way against Norwich that we did West Brom. And and I'll say this too. Besides Norwich's real first chance, which was like 15 minutes into the game that Stan was talking about, 20 minutes into the game, for a long time, I was not worried about them scoring. I wasn't like, oh man, when are we going to Arsenal it? When are we going to do it? When they get the first chance, I was like, this is what's going to happen. They don't get the ball onto our side of the field in possession until the 9th minute, and then we let one in, and that's it. The game unravels. The first chance, I was like, up here it is, but then it didn't come, and I'm like, I don't know. I saw Amen carrying the ball into their third, and I just was not worried. The middle, did we dominate the midfield? No, but we didn't get passed by. We tracked back. We defended. Our midfield was. I don't want to say it was great. It was good. We didn't get run off. Our midfield always gets ran off the field. It did not get ran off the field today or that game. So you got to take positives where you can. And this is also a midfield pairing that's never played together. And then has never played midfield for Arsenal or center midfield. So in a Premier League game.
I guess this is where I'm at with it. We look at these other clubs.
Thank you, Tony. We played East Brom. That's a better indication.
And Stan, I know what Ryan thought. I haven't heard what you thought. I want to get your take on the game.
Yeah,
so I apologize if you're going to repeat
all
yourself.
Answers, Stan. All answers.
But I just, we're now at a point where we really are accepting the fact that we're on Norwich's level. That's where we are. And that is relegation zone. That's where this club is, and this is where we are.
Who's saying we're accepting that? Who's saying? What do you? You're like me. Who said that?
We're propping up Norwich to make ourselves. But
they did play well. Brandon Williams had the best game of his life, and if anyone can tell me differently,
that's one player, Ryan. That's one player. I
think they all played well, but I think
Norwich played well. Norwich, by all accounts, played well against Liverpool, and Liverpool hung 4 on them.
I don't agree with that. But that's fine.
What do you mean? There's not one person that I've seen say Norwich played awful against Liverpool.
I don't think
they played well. They've played well. They're just not good. For them, they've played well. Okay, so for their level, they played well, and we beat them 1-0. That's what I'm saying. Like, and this was sort of my best case, worst case thing that I wanted to talk about last week. Obviously, we didn't do the show last week, but one thing I brought it up 2 weeks ago, which was, okay, the best case is we win, but the worst case is we win 1-0. So it's like, take the positive, clean sheet, scored a goal. But the negative is it was 1-0 to the worst team in the Premier League, worse than they were 2 years ago when they were up. And we're giving them credit, saying how well they played to make us seem better than what we really are. And it's down to this. And I'm going to keep saying it. It's the manager. Another 1-0 win, a 1-0 win at Burnley, given the way they play, given the fact that they just as soon rip your head off and shit down your throat. Okay, 1-0 win there, I'll take it. 1-0 to Norwich, and we're supposed to be better than what we're showing. No, we should have won that. We should have won that game 3 or 4-0.
Oh my God,
that's
you're insane. You're absolutely.
Why am I insane? Why am I?
Because
insane?
all the players that we had on that 11 have never played together. 5 new signings.
Have they played? Have they played?
Trained? They trained together. Did you
have have they played? Have they played the sport before? Yes. So you don't get to have it both ways. You don't get to sit there and say they don't need to build chemistry, and then when things don't go your way, you don't get what you want. They need to build chemistry.
I never said that. I always think you need to build chemistry. I've never said that you never need to not build chemistry.
I don't think chemistry. I don't think that the lack of chemistry has anything to do with us not scoring goals. We're not going to score goals with this manager in charge. This isn't on the player. I'm not knocking the players. It's the manager. It's just not going to happen. Because he.
I'm just so glad you're back, right? And business has resumed, because this is why people pay the fucking entrance fee. Sorry, continue.
All right. I mean, because Ryan and I'll do this all night. So I want Stan, I want your take, and then Rohan, I want your take on how where are you at? Are you positive over the win, or is it still sort of okay? It's uninspiring. Yes, I'm Listen, let there be no mistake. I'm happy that we won. I know it doesn't.
I don't know. Are you? I don't even know.
I'm happy that we won. I'm happy that we won. But I'm not inspired. I don't look back at that game and say that we turned the corner, or that's a step in the right. That's a step but it's a step. I don't think it's a step in the right direction either.
Well, I think you're.
I think it's a step forward, but our trail leg is still there.
So a step forward is not a step in the right direction. I don't know. It does not compute.
I'll put it this way: we didn't kick the ball backwards, but we kicked it sideways on Saturday. I'll put it that way.
But we scored 1-0, so obviously we had to kick it forward at some point. So
no. Metaphorically speaking,
I know. I was kidding. I know what you meant.
Stan, what did you think?
I said it earlier that the game for me was a bit Jekyll and Hyde, because we look at all of the new people that we had in the team, and they all made a good account of themselves, but there was something missing. And I said that when I was talking with Ryan, that I couldn't quite put my finger on it. But while you guys were talking, I was just going back over the stats for the game. And I correct myself. We didn't have 40 shots. We had 30 shots. We put 30 shots. So when people are telling me that, well, we're lacking creativity, well, that's not correct, because we made 30 shots. Norwich had 10. From their 10 shots, they got 1 on target. From our 30 shots, we got 7 on target. So the problem is finishing. Because 30 shots is a lot of chances. 7 on target, 1 goal. You can't put that on the manager. You can put that who's on the field, right? Because he can't put it in the back of the net. Mikel Arteta can't do that. So if you're asking me if I think it's a step in the right direction, I'd have to say yes, because without going back and looking at other match stats, have we been putting 30 goals? Have we been sort of putting 30 shots on our opposition? It doesn't feel like it.
It's the most time, it's the most shots on goal since Arteta came here.
There you go then. So you know, we can only look at it in one game, obviously. You know, let's not go mad and say that we're winning the World Cup on the back of this, But just looking at this one game as it is, I'd have to say that's an improvement because we weren't able to get them many shots off. Now what we need to do is to finish and put games out of sight. So I do think it's an improvement. I have to be honest there and say I can see that as an improvement. Yeah.
Rohan, what did you think?
We have to look at this in context, right? This is a team who had 0 points, 0 goals scored. We were 20th on the table, right?
It's not us or them because they have 1 goal. They had 1 goal scored.
They had 1 goal scored. They had 0 goals scored, right? We were 20th on the table. So,
yeah,
it wasn't going to be a vintage Arsenal performance where we come out and blow them away 6-0. Even though, point to be noted that if we had new players, they also were missing key players. There was no Cantwell who was playing in that game.
Because what's his name plays in front of him now.
For whatever reason, Pookie, for whatever reason, they also had a changed team. But I wanted us to go and beat Norwich, 3-4-0. But as you said, with the manager, with the team itself, right now with the vibe of the club, we weren't going to get that. But what we could have, and what I feared was there were some crosses across the box that nobody was at the end of on their side, right? And what I feared was they're going to score, and that's going to put us back. But that didn't happen, right? And we were taking shots, and we were trying to be fast. And the reason why I said that we shouldn't be trying to be that team who's trying to pass our way in is because it's the most difficult thing to do. Liverpool, with all their quality, couldn't do that against Chelsea. The only time they looked threatening against a 10-man Chelsea was when they played on the counter-attack. And that's what we have. But we've got pace on the counter-attack. We've got people like Pepe. We've got Aubameyang. We've got Martinelli. We've got Saka. All of these guys are fast. We've got, quick ball releasers in Odegaard. That pass from Partey. That was a beautiful pass into Saka. That was the one that unlocked the defense, right? So all of these things were positive. Am I positive that Arteta is the right man to take us forward? No, I'm not. But I'll have to take it game by game, right? And I think we getting 3 points was more important in this game than playing really well and not scoring or ending up in a 2-2 or 2-1 or something like that. That
the only thing I say, Ron, is their team did not change. The only change that you said they made was Cantwell. Cantwell was replaced by Kieran Dowell, who is now coming onto the team, and Norwich prefer.
Did you see Todd Cantwell's hair when he was coming up? My missus was like, "Who's that bird they're bringing on?"
Yeah, it's braided. It looks beautiful. But yeah, the manager of Norwich, I forget I forget his name, but he prefers Kieran Dowell over Cantwell, and I think it's more of a change, a rotational thing. It's horses for courses. I think Kieran Dowell best suits against us. Cantwell would have, with our athleticism in the midfield, and with Gabriel and White, Cantwell wouldn't have done. I don't think Cantwell would have had any impact. Not that Kieran Dowell did, but they were talking about, because that's one thing I did. I don't really listen to the commentators too much, but the one thing they did bring up was, Cantwell's coming on. Dowell's been getting more minutes ahead of him because he prefers Dowell. So I don't think the Norwich team was any different. I think it was the same. It was like their best 11. So it is what it is. I don't want to sit here and defend Norwich and be like they were so good and we were lucky to score a goal against them, because I don't. And then, do I think Arteta is the guy to bring us forward? No, I don't think. And this game didn't change that. But like Stan said, there are a lot of positives, a lot of things to be happy about. All these new signings coming into the fold and kind of developing what Arteta wants to do, whether we like it or not. It's happening, and we as a collective four cannot fire Arteta. So, am I happy he's the manager? I'd probably say no, but I'm happy. I think I'm happy that we won. We made a lot of improvements, a lot of positive things. We're not afraid to bring the ball through the middle of the field. which is something we were desperately scared of. We'd always just try to get the ball to Tierney. Just get the ball to Tierney. He'll know what to do. It's like, again, I bring this up all the time when we talk about Tierney. But I don't know if you guys have seen the movie Kicking and Screaming with Will Ferrell. Very underrated Will Ferrell movie. But he's a soccer coach for like little kids, and he recruits these 2 Italian kids. And literally the plan is pass to the Italians. And I feel like that's what we do with Kieran Tierney. Just pass Kieran Tierney. He'll know what to do. But it's like, no, like now we have a player like AMN. Again, not saying he should start for us, but I think he did a job and he gives Arteta some thinking. And I think he should definitely start against Wimbledon. But like he's a player that'll bring the ball through the middle of the field, and he's not afraid to dribble through a few guys. Did he mess up a few passes? Yes. He tried to get Aubameyang in the game. It didn't work. I get that. But, I'm just happy we weren't persisting with the just get the ball to Tierney and we'll figure it out. I'm happy that our game plan was different. Was it like night and day? Not really. Am I ecstatic about it? No, but I think we played well. I think Brendan Williams kept Pepe on a leash for a little bit. And I think Pepe was getting to really dangerous places. I think Pepe was doing really well. And Brendan Williams was just the last line of defense to Kembe Mutombo. No. And that's I'm going to give credit to him, whether Tanner likes it or not. I think Brendan Williams played outstanding. I guess I don't necessarily think Norwich themselves played outstanding. I think
that's fine.
I think they defended really well. But like they didn't scare me on the attack at all.
So let's put the shoe on the other foot here for a minute.
Yes.
30 shots attempted.
Yes.
Because I think the word attempted needs to be added when we're going to talk about 30 shots. 30 shots.
Attempting the ball at goal, right?
Yeah. We attempted 30 shots. Now, would you say that we defended well had Norwich attempted 30 shots? Because go back 2 years to when we played Watford, and we gave up less than 30 shots. We drew them 2-2. It was like 27 shots on goal, and all we could talk about was the fact our 27 shots attempted, and all we could talk about was 27 shots. We gave them 27 shot attempts on goal. That's how bad our defense is. Now,
I hate to say this, but I think it's you have to look back and
understand the attempted shot thing is I don't even know what are the qualifications for it to be an attempted shot. Can a goalkeeper have an attempted shot? I mean, can he just boot the ball long, and if it's on line to go in net, does that count as an attempted shot? The thing to me is
not going to be us, is it? Because we fucking play out the back of you all the time.
Yeah, right. So, how many of those shots were Ramsdale booting the ball long, and it's if it's on target, like if that's what he's going for, it's on target, so it's an attempted shot. That's to me, it's very misleading.
Yeah,
how about
a shot at goal? If you go wide or you go over the crossbar,
I'll put it. I'd rather
target.
Yeah,
that means it's in between the sticks.
Right now,
the keeper saved it.
Here's a question, and I mean this seriously. If anybody knows, give me the answer because I'm curious. If you hit the woodwork, does it count as a shot on target?
Off target, no.
It is not. Okay, so it's just Ryan. It's just like in hockey. Then if you shoot the puck and it hits a crossbar or a post, that's not a shot on net.
Blocks as well.
What's that, Stan?
You shoot the ball in and it comes off a defender's arse. It's been blocked, right? Could have been on target, but if it's come off a defender,
I don't think it is. I think it's a shot.
No?
I don't think it's a shot. I think it's a shot, not a shot on target.
Okay.
No. Wait. Again, there's a difference.
Yeah, that's a shot.
There's attempted shots. There's shots on target.
Yeah.
On target,
I would rather
save, right?
See, this is just me. I would rather bring that attempted shot number. Well, first I would rather bring the shot on target number up, but I would rather balance those two numbers. Try to balance those two numbers out a little bit more. And I understand that every shot you attempt is not going to be on goal. I get that, but 30 shots attempted, 7 on target. That's 1 out of every 4 shots you take is on target. That's not a good. That's not a good percentage of shots.
I don't think
on
it's
target.
bad.
It's
again, like we were not
really,
for the last 2 games, right?
Having 30 shots in a game isn't bad.
But where are the shots coming from? 20. Let me put it the other way.
RT was kicking them from halfway.
23 shots didn't find their way on target.
Okay.
It either becomes a turnover.
You're acting like we're a top 4 team right now. We finished 8th back to back.
But the way that we're
talking,
amazing. It's like we're grasping at straws
because
we build ourselves up.
You have to.
Well, Tommy Ashley, didn't he? Tommy Ashley took that shot. That's off target, though, wasn't it?
Yeah.
You know when he done that scissor kick, it was off target. Didn't get it on target.
I like I said, I get it. I would just rather it's. I guess it's just better utilization of the attempts.
I'd rather us score 10 goals and have 10 shots.
That'd be awesome. Shit. Well,
but I want us to continue with those 30 shots. If we keep having 30 cracks, I mean, you'd like to think something's going to go in, right? We might not be getting the averages that we want, but fuck me, if you can create 30 chances, you're on a chance, ain't you?
But there's another difference, Stan. Is it a chance? Is it a legitimate chance if we're kicking the ball on net from 30 yards away and it's like that ball would have been good from 60 yards if this were
we weren't doing that, are we? We're not banging. I don't remember any players trying to do an El Neni from 30 yards out.
Tanner, you watched the game like all of us. Did we shoot from outside the 18 a whole lot?
Not a lot. No, not a lot. No.
So they blocked. And again, I'm sorry. I'm taking Norwich's canary cock out of my mouth. They blocked a lot of shots, though. Like that's just they defended well. Like it's how the game goes sometimes. You know, you have games, and I'm not going to compare them to Man U when we played them 2 seasons ago, and David Gea was standing on his head and saving him for fun with one hand behind his back. But they defended well. We're a team that is not used to putting 30 shots.
So I'm just looking at. Sorry, Ryan.
No, Ryan, you're good. Go.
I'm just looking at the shot map that Arsenal had, right? And our XG for that game was 2.74.
I have 3.05.
Yeah, it was 2.74. We scored 1, so which is lower than what was the expected XG. And I'm just looking at the shot map, and I've counted the number of shots there. 10 of them were from areas that I would say is unreasonable, where you would not score. It's outside the box or just towards the corner of the box.
Bad angles, too far away, just not realistic.
There were 20 shots there, which were from a reasonable angle. The goal that we scored itself had maybe 3-4 chances there because we kept going again and again. See, I'll say this again, right? Like, right now we are catching on to the bare minimum. Because we had not scored, we got 0 points, right? Like we had to take the first step, and the first step was getting the shots in. The first step was getting the ball in the back of the net, and doing all of this. I don't think there's anything to complain about. We're not world beaters, but this is this is the start of it, right? We needed these 3 points, bottom of the league.
Yeah,
right? Like as much as I crib about Arteta, when we went in, like it was a sigh of relief to watch this game and to see that we won. Want to win against Burnley as well. It doesn't matter how it comes right now, because that luxury of wanting good football only comes after you start winning some games. We weren't even doing that.
And I think too, also what got me excited and happy, which is, let me see if I can word this. Was the fact that we could bring on ESR and Partey and like change the game. Like we have players, like our starting 11, probably not everybody's best 11. Like people wouldn't be like, oh, this is my Arsenal 11 for what we have. But I think it's a good 11. I think it's an 11 against a Norwich team that we could outduel, just be athletic in the middle of the field.
That's a clean sheet.
Yeah, But we could, we could bring on Partey, we could bring on ESR, who, in my opinion, both changed the game immensely.
Yeah.
I think that's a real positive that we do have somewhat of squad rotation. Now, Partey's probably not going to be on the bench against Burnley. Probably won't be on the bench until he gets hurt. But I think Partey's going to start. But having an ESR or having an Odegaard on the bench, or Pepe, because if ESR and Odegaard play, Pepe will be on the bench. AMN, Lacazette, maybe if we don't learn about. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not the biggest Martinelli guy, but yes, I agree. I think Martinelli could do a job for us. And while I'm tooting horns, let's toot away. I know he's injured, but even someone like El Nene, he does a job. Is he a starting 11 guy? No. If we ever bring AM on, it's because we're trying to close the game out. And I think he does a job. I think he does a good job. I think he's good at it. Yes.
Yeah, he's a great game closer. He closed the game out.
So, I think that this is good. We're going in the right direction now. I don't want to put words in Tanner's mouth, so I'm not even going to say it. But I think that there are some people, and I'm not including Tanner in this. I think there's supporters, and I don't necessarily agree, because right now I do not think Arteta is the man for the job. But I think there are supporters, and I don't want to. If it's you guys, cool. If it's not, I'm not hating, shit talking. It's just a fact. I think there's certain man. Sorry.
I'm about to be insulted.
I think that there are people that are so Arteta out that it doesn't matter what we do. You're just gonna find negatives in everything, and you're just gonna, this is bad, I don't like this and all this. And that's fair. You could be critical and you could analyze games, but I just think no matter what we do, as long as he's the manager, if we don't win 10-0 every game, something's wrong. We suck. It's him. It's the system. And to an extent, I don't disagree. I do think
that's bollocks, though, isn't it? It is bollocks. Yeah, that closed mind and that stubborn.
And again, I'm not saying it's you, Rohan. I'm not saying it's Tanner.
No, I use the example for me. I use that example, and I've said it a few times. When I fucking read online or in the newspaper, wherever it was, that we were going to sign Danny Welbeck, right? I was fucking spitting chips, mate. Not happy at all. Do you know what I mean? I was walking down the street, right, and kicking little children when they walked past me. I was that upset. But he turned it around. So much now that if I'm flicking through and I see something about Danny Welbeck, I want to actually read it. I like the guy. There's something about him. He turned it around. Have an open mind, right? If Arteta goes on a run, this is the big thing. We've got that first win. The biggest thing for Arsenal right now is consistency. And what I mean by that is I'm happy to come away from Burnley with a draw. If we work hard. You know what I'm getting at? Because I said these two games, Norwich and Burnley, I said on Arsenal fan circle that I would be looking for a minimum of 4 points. That's a win and a draw. And I was thinking, get the 3 points against Norwich. Obviously, I want to get the 3 points against Burnley, but I would take a draw away from home against Burnley, and we worked hard. I could take that. I could handle it, baby steps, right? But for me, this is crucial now. We go to Burnley and we see a performance like against Brentford and we lose. And not only do we lose, there's no effort. It's the manner of the loss is terrible. Then for me, that just undoes everything, that small bit of goodness that I saw in the Norwich game. You know what I'm saying? Because it wasn't like a wonder goal. I don't mind if a goal wants to go in off the side of someone's arse cheek, if that's something that gives you a bit of confidence, because when they scored that goal, all of the players, when they celebrated that goal, they ain't done that for a while. It's those little things that count, right? They're all hugging and, you want to think to yourself, if you're the manager, you should be saying to themselves, harness that feeling. They want a little bit more of that. Do you know what I mean? You're playing for each other. You all celebrated the goal. You want to you want to build on that feeling. So if we come away from that Burnley game and we lose badly, it's like a step backwards, a step forwards, 2 steps back, and I will really be very, very disappointed if we are under the standard. If we go below what we saw against Norwich, and what we saw against Norwich wasn't very high, by the way, but we got the 3 points.
Not for nothing, Ryan. Can I just say, nice shirt, love it. I don't know why. I just now noticed wearing a Tony Gwynn t-shirt. I fucking love it.
Yeah, I am wearing a Tony Gwynn shirt. Yeah.
Sorry, I just caught the tail end of what you were saying there, Stan. And I agree with everything that I just heard. The thing is, it's for me. And I said this before. Yeah, it's a step forward because it's a win. And actually, everything that Rowan had said before I ducked out for a minute, I agree with everything you just said, Rowan. It's like,
go fuck himself.
What's that?
I was kidding. No, keep going.
Obviously, hell has frozen over then tonight.
No.
You agreed with Ryan. Jesus.
No, we agree quite often. Rowan, not Ryan. Rowan and I agree quite often. But it's perspective again for me. And like Stan said, to bring the two together, we got to put in a performance. I won't say, Stan, that I'm on board with the draw away at Burnley. I think I hear what you're saying.
It's the minimum.
No, I don't. Clearly,
the minimum requirement, right, is a draw with a good performance.
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I would say
agree.
that's I agree with the way you just put that. But I would say that
the fact it's Burnley, and like Burnley could literally, like, Tarkowski could 2-foot Saka and get him injured, and get like maybe a yellow. Like, Burnley's such a wild card. Like, we could come out of Burnley with a draw. I can just see us now draw 1-1 against Burnley, get screwed by the ref, screwed by VAR because Burnley being Burnley. But you still have to be Burnley. And I think also too to what you're saying before, Ted, I think and this is how I feel. I think that if we beat Burnley and put in a similar performance to Norwich and we beat Burnley, I think that makes Norwich's performance better. Because it's like, okay, like we did it to Burnley, a team that's willing to 2-foot tackle us. They're going to be physical. They're going to be aggressive. And they are better than Norwich. We'll put that there. Now they're a better team than Norwich. So I think we could kind of just match performances and yet come out with 3 points. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's how I feel. I think it makes the Norwich performance better.
I would disagree with that. I would only, if we can go, I would view a 1-0 win away at Burnley as a better performance or even a better result than the 1-0 win at home against Norwich.
No,
I'm taking out of consideration.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying if we get a 1-0 at Burnley, it's going to make our performance against Norwich seem not better than the Burnley performance, but the Norwich performance better than how we're talking about it right now. Like, does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay, I see that. I just, like I said, it's a 1-0 win, which was kind of my, okay, that's the best worst case scenario we could come up with, or it's the worst best case scenario we could come up with. So there are positives to be taken from the match. The worrying thing to me is still the
getting points on the board.
Well, that's number one, and that's back to your point, Rowan. That's what it's like you hit the nail on the head. Get some wins first before you become sort of that entitled fan. Like, okay, now it needs to be fun. Like, okay, we're going to grind out a 1-0 victory, and it's going to be painful to watch. But at the end of the day, the 3 points are what matter most. We're going to grind that out. But now, like, okay, we've done that a little bit. Now it's time to start. Okay, let's make it a little more enjoyable to watch and not such a, pun fully intended, grind.
I don't think I agree with that draw with Burnley thing. Like, today Burnley lost 3-0 or yesterday Burnley lost 3-1 to Everton, right? Who have a new manager who's been in 4 or 5 games now, including the cup. So if they can do it, our manager has been around for almost 2 years now. So why should we not win it? And I completely understand that we've traditionally had close games with Burnley because of the way that they play and because of the way that we play, and they just feel like we can be dominated and all of that. But this is new blood, right? And this is Arteta's team. Now everything that he has been saying has to come out, and he has to, really put the money where his mouth is. And, that means that we have to go to Burnley and we have to pick up points. Everybody said that we had, out of the first 3 games. We had 2 difficult games which we had no right to win anyway. So that's fine. We are just 3 points behind what we should have been. Right now, we should have had 6 points. We have 3 points. That's fine. Now let's get the win against Burnley, which traditionally would have been a draw or something like that. And then let's go into the North London derby with some some energy and with some momentum, right? You know.
Go ahead, Ryan.
I was going to say 2 things at the Burnley game where I kind of lean more towards Stan. The reason why I think it's going to be tougher, which is I think we're a better team. I know it's like weird to say we're a better team than Everton, but I think we're a better team than Everton. But it's opinion, it's fine. But I think a reason why they shellapped Burnley were 2 reasons. I think we're the softest team in the Premier League, and I think Burnley are one of the more tougher teams. So I think that's a bigger advantage than people think. I think they're
massive advantage.
Exactly. So I don't think it's gonna be as easy as Everton. And another thing I will say, which I think is a big fucking deal, and we're not gonna do it. We need to do it. We're gonna play 4 at the back. We need to play 3 at the back against Burnley. That's the best, easiest way to beat Burnley is playing 3 at the back against their two strikers. It always counters 2 strikers is against Barnes and Wood. It's playing 3 at the back, and we can do that. We have the players now that everyone's back. It just makes sense, but we're not going to do that. We're going to play a back 4.
Happening tactically. That is what was happening, right? Tini was bombing forward, and Tomiyasu was in the back, and he was essentially forming a back 3, right? That's how we were playing. So I think now whatever
you want Tomiyasu and Tierney to.
We're not there yet, Ryan.
I agree. I agree, but I don't think Everton are there yet either.
Wait, Stan. Stan, what did you just say? I missed it.
I said, if I heard it right, Ryan's saying that we'll be going to the next game up against Burnley about the 3 or essentially 5 at the back, and he's right in what he's saying. My only fear is that I don't think we're there yet. I think now that we've got all of these players, I'm worrying whether it's a gamble. We were just talking about consistency, weren't we? And we've been talking about how, there's too much chopping and changing. Do we now want to go into that next game and tinker again? Do we not want to settle into a first 11 and a formation for a while? Yeah, I know it's not going to be easy. And Ryan's right. Against certain other teams, you have to sometimes do a little bit of jiggery pokery. That's what football's about. But we're not in that place yet where we've really established our first team and our identity yet.
Yeah.
We're not just worried that we just got to win. And it's like, right, lads, we're changing everything again for next week.
Yeah, no, you're right.
You're going to be doing this now. You're playing slightly differently now, Tomiyasu. I want you. Do you know what I'm getting at?
They're both fantastic points. Well done, both of you. That's exactly what we should be doing, Ryan. That's exactly what we should be doing. To Stan's point, we're not there yet. We are not a team that is coached well enough to be able to change the formation week in, week out. We're certainly not a good enough team to just play. We need to be playing to counter our opponent's strengths.
I think that's our biggest problem and that's why that's one of my biggest gripes with Arteta is we don't watch videotape. I always say this is like my new thing. We don't watch videotape on the opponent to learn how to counter the opponent. We watch Man City tape on how to play like Man City. And we are obviously, I hate to break this to you and the chat room, we are not Man City.
Wait, what? That's not the Manchester City badge right there?
Yeah, right.
Wait.
Nope. That's
bitch, I've been doing this all wrong. What? Change the show's canceled. Change everything.
And that's why I completely agree with you, Stan. And it sucks hearing you say that because you're right. And it's like, yeah, we're not ready. And that's been our biggest problem.
So here's a $60,000 question then, right? Here's a $60,000 question because this is a good little thing.
I feel like you are going to. You're right here, right now. I feel like Stan. Go.
We're on this little thing here, right? So here's a question to everyone, chat box as well. Now that we've brought this out, because as I said, I hear what you're saying, man. Now, what do we think Arteta's going to do?
Well, not quite what I was going to ask.
Okay.
I'll ask my question next. Rohan, you were trying to say something as well. Go ahead.
No, what I was trying to say was that if you're coached well enough and if your system is that efficient, then you wouldn't have to change your system again and again. Your system would be good enough for you to beat anyone, right?
Well,
You
yeah,
don't
if
Manchester
you're
City
Man,
going back
if you're
three
Man
against
City,
Burnley.
teams are going to prepare for you, but we're not Man City. So we're playing a team like Burnley who, Tanner, you say like we're kind of on their
completely
level.
understand with what you're saying.
Yeah.
Against two strikers, it's best to play three defenders so that you have one defender free, and I agree with that logic, right? But right now we are building. We haven't even nailed one formation, let alone two. So let's just stick to this. Instead of having both our fullbacks bomb ahead, you can have one of them who's a 6 foot, 6'2" inches, right? Who's supposed to be, who we buy players only because they can play multiple positions, right? Like now that is the USP of signing for Arsenal. Cedric, who can play right back, left back, goalkeeper, everywhere.
I don't know if Cedric could play any position, but that's
everywhere. These guys are going to play everywhere, and these are the type of guys that we want. So then leverage that, and you can have them there. It's not like we need so much attacking power when you've got a front four of Pepe, Aubameyang, Saka, and Odegaard, with Lacazette coming in, or with ESR coming in and Martinelli coming in. I don't think you need more than that to just shore up your attack.
So take Stan's question, Rohan. What do you think Arteta is going to do on Saturday? Do you think he sticks to the back four?
He should stick to it. He should stick to the only change that should be made is AMN go out, Partey come in, because Partey needs to be playing in the North London derby. So you need that. That's the only change I would make. This team has won. This team deserves the right to play the next game.
Ryan.
As much as I want to put Lock in, I could not agree with you more, Rohan. I think Aubameyang plays, and I think it sucks because I think he's gonna go back four for sure. And I guess I'll get to my point later. Back four. Next.
I think he sticks with the back four. Yeah. I don't think he changes it. But let me ask a different question.
I didn't ask me. I think he.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't let you answer your own question.
Ryan brought up that point. I hadn't considered it, right? And now I'm fucking shitting myself. And now I'm thinking like he's going to do that. He's going to be too cool for school. He's going to look at it like, he's been in the game for that long, and he's going to forget the points that we've just made. And I've got a feeling, although I want him to stick with what he's done, and like Rohan perfectly said, they've earned that right. Obviously, the only tweak is Partey starts, obviously. But now that Ryan's put that in my head, I'm kind of convinced he's going to fucking change it.
Well,
I don't know why. I hope I'm wrong.
Let me ask this question, and this is to the three of you. This is your opinion, because it's okay. Is it with where we are as a club? Okay, not all things being equal, we're not at the level we want to be. There's no assuming that we are who we are right now. Your opinion, and Stan, I'll come right back to you. Is it more important to gel the back four, and because we've said how important is that, or is it more important right now we need points? Is it more important to look at the opponent and say, okay, you know what, I think a three at the back is better here. Yeah, I want to play the back four. Yeah, I want to gel everybody together, but we need the points more than we need the chemistry. What's your opinion on it? Which is the more important of the two?
I think if you look at the way that we came out in that last game, if you can't consider it a back five, there were new faces in there, a new goalkeeper, a right back, and a centre back. I just think that for the next game, continue with that, a little bit of continuity. And I said it just a minute ago, we're not there yet. If all of these guys had been with us, halfway through this season and things are going well, you can then start working on something else on that training field and have that as your plan B. Or for a game where it justifies going to that formation. But like BX Gunner 81 says, stick with it. This could be our back four now going forward for a while. Let's let it bed in.
I would think just, I mean, what, 19.5 million pounds on Tomiyasu? This is the back four. Like the back four now is should be set. Like this is it. Right?
Can I just add as well? Can I just add to that as well? I honestly think that because of the way he second guessed me because I didn't think that he was going to start with Ramsdale. I thought he was going to start with Leno, and I wasn't sure that he was going to start with Tomiyasu either, because he's shown me in the past that sometimes he's a bit hesitant to start a new signing. But the fact that he went with them and they made a good account of themselves, I think I think Mikel Arteta went away from that thinking that he felt justified with the decision that he's made, and that's got to reinforce him to continue. I would be so surprised if Cedric, AMN, or Chambers started at right back, and I'd be so surprised if Leno started in goal.
Can I just say real quick, completely off the topic? I wish that Takahiro Tomiyasu's first name started with an N, so that we could combine his first name with his last name, and we could come up with Nakatomi.
Nakatomi Plaza.
I just needed to say that. I don't know what made that just pop into my head, but that works, right? Yeah.
I don't get it.
Die Hard.
Nakatomi Plaza is from Die Hard, the building in Die Hard. And so it would be Nakahiro Tomiyasu, which we could take to Nakatomi. That would have been great. Anyway, Ryan, more important, play to your opponent to try to get the points. More important to stick with the same, consistency in terms of the lineup. You know what, Rohan? You wanted to duck out of here. I know you're tired. Why don't you go first? And this can be your last thing, and then I'll give you an opportunity for a final word. And I'll let Ryan stew in his own thoughts for a few more minutes.
As much as points are important, if in the long term, if you are telling me that this is going to work in the long term, and I do think that this is our backcourt, I want to see in every game from now until if somebody is injured, because we don't even have midweek games right anymore. So I want to see Ramsdale, Kieran Tierney, Ben White, Gabriel,
I have it,
and Tomiyasu and Partey. This is the six that I want to see playing every Premier League match, because this is the six that is going to play.
Wait, who's the sixth?
The sixth, Partey.
Oh, yeah. Okay, gotcha.
This is the six that I want to say. Right? Other than that, you can make chopping, changing, whatever. Lacazette in, Aubameyang in, Pepe in, ESR in, Martinelli in, Saka in, Odegaard. Whatever you want to do, you can do that. But these six, this is our spine. In fact, I would, even if it was, I would consider, the spine is actually, the goalkeeper. I think Ramsdale is going to be there, plus Ben White, plus Partey, plus Aubameyang. But if you want to change that, that's fine. But this six, everything has to start from the defense, right? Like you cannot win the title, or you cannot be challenging for anything if you're not solid in defense. And now we've spent so much. Just look at it. Like Tierney, we are happy. Tomiyasu, we've paid a good amount there. Ben White, 50 million signing. Gabriel last season, really good, and we spent like almost 30 million on him. We've got to play these guys. So for me, they will play.
And Matty makes a good point. Even though how we all look for the lineup an hour before the game and we see how we're going out. But we don't stick to a rigid formation. There's a lot of times off the ball when it almost looks like we're playing in a 4-4-2. On the ball, there's times when it's like a 2-3-5, 3-2-1-4 as well. So there is a lot of movement. It's not rigid. When you see the lineup, that's not rigidly how we're going to play. However, obviously, when we line up with the three at the back, say 5, I just don't like having that one man missing out of the midfield for me. It's a bit negative.
Ryan, your take on it?
So I think we should start with a back four. And if things aren't going well, I think Arteta should be able to make the right changes and revert us to a back three or back five throughout the game. I think with this Norwich game, I think we changed formations a lot. I think we ended the game in a 4-3-3 with Partey kind of playing a little bit deep lying, and you had Odegaard and ESR in the middle, pushed up a little bit. I think we could do it. I think we could adapt with formations. Maybe not. I don't think we start with a back three. No. But I think this is where Arteta can kind of flex his muscle a little bit. I mean, again, I'm not saying he's gonna be a world beater. He's gonna do all these things, but I think with this, it's 1-0 to Norwich, yes, but it's confidence. Whether it's little confidence, it's confidence nonetheless. And I think you need to build on that. And I think that if changes need to be made, he should be able to go in there and make the necessary changes because he did it against Norwich, And when we went 1-0 up, he still kept that 4-3-3. Because he wanted another, because he thought we could get it, and we were very close to getting another. So I completely agree with Rohan. I think that's 6. I don't want to put Ramsdale in there. I don't want to put Ramsdale in there because I'm not ready to say goodbye to Leno, but I'm going to put Ramsdale in there. I think that 6 is just that's the 6. And I think I agree that 5 is going to need changing, and hopefully, it sucks because I really like Lokonga, but I think we need to probably make a signing in January if we can for that Partey partner. If he still wants to do that, I don't know. I don't think he does, but yeah, I think you go with the back four and you adapt accordingly.
I think Ryan's been on about that 6. That's the foundation, right? The 6. That 6 it's not the spine, but that's like the foundation. Everything else you can maybe do a little bit of jiggery pokery. And it's funny that it's 6 because you remember we went for that stage where we had the really bad 6, which I used to call the shitbag 6. So I'd have to come up with a name for this 6. Maybe the sinister 6. But I like that what you said, Rohan. That foundation, they need to play together a lot. They need to understand each other. They need to know how to communicate with each other because they can take us a long way.
And that's the thing, right? Like Arteta has earned his reputation being a coach, right? Now he's got these 6 players. They are fit. They have, he's got his team now. This is not Wenger's team. This is not Emery's team. This is not Raul Sinelli's team. This is his team now. He's not got European football. So he's got all the time in the world in the training ground, right? Now he needs to adapt himself as much as he needs to adapt this team because that's what is required. He's too slow when it comes to reacting into situations. He lets the game dictate what he's doing and doesn't take the game by the scruff of the neck. These are things that he should also learn. And I hope he does. Every time all of us watch, we want 3 points. We want a good show, right? And all of that is going to start with the bedrock is going to be this 6. Yeah, and I think that's my final thought for tonight, guys.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Take it easy, mate.
Good stuff, man. Rowan, take care. Get some rest, brother.
Listen to you guys while I find my way to sleep.
We'll do our best to bore you to that degree. So thanks, Rowan. See you, buddy. I'm working behind the scenes here, getting the description in the YouTube thing done. So, but it'll be interesting to see because I think it's you guys seriously, you brought up, these are great points that you just brought up. It's like, which is the more important of the two? Is it to get that consistency with the back four, or is it to sort of, again, play to your opponent's strengths to try to shut that down so that you get the 3 points?
Pain and gain, isn't it? I look at it as pain and gain, right? Sometimes you have to go through that little bit of. Do you know what I mean? So let's do it now. Let's do it now because after we get to that, when we get to that international break on November, The second, if you look at those games that we've got leading up to that, Villa's in there, Leicester's in there, Watford's in there. There's teams in there that we should be able to get a good, we should be able to get something out of. After that international break, we get big boys again.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? So let's use this thing now. Let's use this period of time to get that consistency going before we start fucking jiggery pokering it around and changing it. We're not, as I said earlier, I just don't think we're there yet.
No,
let's get the one thing right first before we do the other thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. In lieu of what Arteta said here in this interview that he did with Sky Sports a couple of weeks ago, and he basically said, look, the blueprint now is we're going youth. Well, that's great. Go youth. And we'll find out if they mean what they say about going with the youth. We will know come the North London Derby. When the starting 11 for the North London Derby comes out, we will know how serious they are about going with the youth. We'll know how serious they are. And
what do you mean? What do you think?
Granite Xhaka. So if after 3 games of being out with COVID and suspension, well, it's suspension because that happened before the COVID thing did. He was missing the 3 games, so he's going to miss the next 2 games with the suspension. If he walks straight back into the team, that should tell this fan base all it needs to know.
Yeah, that would depend on the run of that would depend on the points that we've either picked up or lost before that point. If we want to run and things are going well, he can't walk back into the team. But if we've had our pants pulled down, then there's the excuse. The only other reason that you put him back into the team, the only viable excuse
is to stop the bleeding.
Experience.
Well, yeah.
It's that.
I mean, and that's the thing. If we're going with the youth, which I've said before, you guys have both heard me go off on this tangent about the youth before, then go with the youth. I will live through the growing pains, the pain and gain, as Stan just said, if we're losing with the youth. But if they continue to play week in and week out, I'll live through that. I'll suffer through a 10th place season, a 12th place season. I can deal with that. I have supported some real shitty sports teams in my life, not just Arsenal. All right. The Patriots were bad for a very long time before Tom Brady and company came along. So the Red Sox, same thing. I digress. Live and die with that. Put them out there. And if they lose, they lose. Okay, well, you know what, guys? Learning experience. Figure it out. Go out there next week and, do something different. And if they lose again, they lose again. But at least they're bonding and they're gelling together as a club. As teammates. And therein lies the problem is everyone wants instant gratification, including, to a degree, as much as people aren't going to like to hear me say this, ownership, coaching staff, the board, they want the instant gratification. And when they're not seeing it, the coaching staff's going to change something. And then what have we done? We will completely undermine ourselves because, we're going with the youth movement. But we just lost the game, so we need to change it.
But when are you ever going to get instant gratification with Xhaka in the lineup? Like, I don't.
Well,
I get what you're
no.
saying.
But when are we going to get it? But my thing,
it hasn't happened yet. Why is it going to start now?
But Stan is right because there's a value placed on experience within the hierarchy of this club. The fact is, granted, Xhaka, if he's healthy and not suspended, he's in. He's in. And look, Arteta does it. Emery did it. Wenger did it at the end of his tenure. They valued his experience. For better or for worse, they valued his experience over anything else.
See, my worry is that when we talk about the Project Youth, and we also talk about experience, my actual bigger, as much as I kind of feel that Project Youth is refreshing, the one thing that worries me is I look at our centre-back area and I just think that we've got two if our two central defenders are going to be Gabriel Megalegs and Benny White.
I love that, by the way.
I can't pronounce his proper name, which I can't say that. It's Megalegs. But if they're going to be our two centre forwards going forward, they look at their age profile and the experience that they have. Yes, they get their coaching and their training, but in game, I just feel that there should be someone. When you're a centre back and you're 23 years old, you need someone in the game with you, helping you along. If you look at who Ben White played with when he went to Leeds and at Brighton,
wow,
he had experienced people next to him helping him. He had Lewis Dunk with him, right?
Lewis Dunk, Shane Duffy down at Brighton, absolutely.
Right. So that's the one thing that worries me, that as much as you have training in-game, the in-game management part, they're kind of like, it's like sink or swim. There is no, I mean, who's our most experienced centre-back at the club? It's probably Rob Holding or Callum Chambers, if you count Callum Chambers as a centre-back, right? In experience. That's it. So Megalegs and Benny White, it just worries me. Do you know what I mean? It worries me that how they're in-game, they're going to be learning.
Well, but the thing is, and this is the thing that I keep coming back to, this is the only sport where people value a 36-year-old over a 22-year-old because, well, the 36-year-old, he's just got more experience. Like, if you're not a Kylian Mbappe, I mean, if you are not I don't even want to say a world-class talent, because it's beyond being a world-class talent. I mean, unless you are the best in the world at your position, most clubs in Europe would just simply, give me the older guy. Give me the older guy. I don't care that this younger guy can leap tall buildings in a single bound. I want the more experienced guy. And to this, what Rohan just said, you pay for the education of young players with points. If I play a 20-year-old center back, I know it'll cost me points during the season, and I have to stand up for that. A less talented 28-year-old would cost me less points. I'm sorry. I I really wanted to have this conversation with Rohan about Wenger, but look, he wasn't perfect. He was not perfect. And this is one of those things that I hugely disagree with. Hugely disagree with.
I was going to say, Mustafi would like to have a word with you.
So would Rob Holding. So would Callum Chambers.
Rob Holding's young. Jennings, they're younger. They're younger.
Right, yeah. But
I'd rather have someone in our squad who was around maybe 28, 29 in the centre-back position, 30. And maybe he doesn't even have to play every week because Megalegs and Benny White are doing well. But maybe he has an influence on that because of his experience. You know, he's talking to them when the manager doesn't talk to you every second of the day. Do you know what I mean? You need people around you. Do you know what I mean? When you're just walking around and talking to you, it's not bad. Just we haven't got anyone now. It really worries me in that centre back position that there is no one to.
But isn't that why you let them go though, Stan? Because as long as you keep putting someone in front of them to do a job, they're never going to learn how to do the job themselves.
They don't have to be in front of them. What I'm saying is, if we had a centre back at the club who's played it in maybe on a couple of different continents and had a profile of about 28, 29, you know, if they've got the talent, if Megalegs and Benny White have got the talent, they'll get in ahead of him. But he'll still be able to. He's there for cover, one, but he's still there.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
He's still there to give them
someone that's there in training.
Passage. The information, the guidance. Do you know
having a mentor in the club at that position who is better than a Rob Holding, a Pablo Mari, and this is not a knock on Rob Holding. I'm a Rob Holding guy. It's not a knock on him, but yeah,
is Megalegs going to go to Holding or Mari for in-game information and knowledge? Are they really going to be able to impart that wisdom?
The thing is that ideally speaking, you just basically said go get Rafael Varane.
No, but I mean, look at David Luiz. David Luiz, as you know, I didn't like him being on the pitch, right?
Mm-hmm.
It pissed me off. But this is a guy that's been around.
Yeah.
Around. You know what I'm getting at, you know? Playing, he's still gonna get minutes, rotation, blah, blah, blah. But he, you know, if they're in the canteen and they want to ask a question, they could ask David Luiz. At the minute, they're going to be asking Pablo Mari, what's he been? What's he done? Rob Holding or Callum Chambers?
I get it. I do get it. It's a good point. You do kind of want someone in that, especially at center back. I will say that because they do develop and mature more slowly than attacking players. I think if you look, you know, top to bottom, that really is the progression of players and how they mature. Your attackers, your strikers, your wingers mature and improve much more quickly and reach their prime much sooner than a midfielder, and even more so than a defender or a goalkeeper. I mean, unless these guys are just, you know, off the charts, world class, world beaters, that's just the way it goes. And, you know,
it worries me then if they don't have anyone kind of, as you say, that mentor role. It worries me that we're buying into the potential of these players. But if they don't have a mentor around them, will they get to their potential? If they're not, do you know what I mean? Their education. They have to have an education, right?
And if you're not going to have that player that is around day in, day out at the training pitch, getting a shirt week in, week out, maybe, you know, as a squad player, you know, he's on the bench, maybe comes on as a sub, gets the odd League Cup game somewhere here or there. But you're absolutely right. If you don't have that, well, it goes to the coaching staff.
And this actually leads into something else, what we're talking about right now. All this with Jack Wilshere being back at the club. He's training at Arsenal. You know, we're talking about experience.
Is he training at Arsenal?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Basically, after he done his interview and, you know, he poured his heart out with Ornstein and what happened with him over in Italy with Como, he had to leave there, right? They couldn't use him in the training or whatever. Mikel Arteta, because they played with each other, he extended an olive branch and he's training at Arsenal.
Good.
He's training.
Because that's only going that. There you go. There, at least we've got that person now in the midfield.
And I like that. Now, here's the other question. Now, there's a lot of people on Twitter saying the guy's a free agent, even though the transfer window is closed. Free agents
can sign whenever they want. Yep.
Now, here's the $60,000 question, right? And I like this. Jack Wilshere, would you take him back on a? You know, there's a couple of options, right? Do you take him back on a half-season contract for some, you know, as on a rolling thing? Do you take him on a pay-as-you-play? So you're here training with us. You know, I don't know how it would. I don't know if there's a thing where we can't register him. Whether we've registered enough players, and we'd have to wait until, I think, is it January when you can reshuffle around? But if there's an option for that, is that something that anyone chat box as well, because he's one of our own. This guy was supposed to be a prodigy of football. Okay, let's look at the flip side of the coin. He went off to West Ham, didn't really work out. I think he went to Bolton as well, Bournemouth. We know that he's got injury problems, but if he's at Arsenal, you can't tell me that just for being around younger players, that's a good thing. And he's obviously going to be training hard. Jack Wilshere ain't going to be going back to Arsenal when he's just poured his heart out about wanting to play and be lackadaisical. He'll be there. If anything, in his mind, he'll be thinking, if I work hard, maybe they will give me a pay-as-you-play. Do you know what I'm getting at? So he's going to be a good influence, but would you do it? Would you do anything that involves
right now, I'd give him a half-year contract on the premise that I can't register you to play until January, so you're going to get a half-year contract, but you're here, you're going to train, you're going to learn what we're doing here, and I want you around. And here's why. Because we talk about players all the time we want players who want to play for Arsenal. And now here's everybody turning their nose up at the one player in the world that would probably kill someone to put that shirt back on. And we're saying, nah, we want players that want to play for Arsenal, but not that guy. Not that guy who would go out and break his fucking leg for this club. Not that guy. I don't want him. Nope, good. I'd rather have the guy that would just as soon take my fucking money, go out and buy himself a brand new car, wrap it in a chrome wrap, and then shit all over it because he's got the money. He could fucking buy a new one, but not Jack Wilshere. Not that guy. Not
This
the
is a
guy
bit,
who would run
right?
through. Not the guy who'd run through a brick wall for this club. Not him. I don't want him. I don't want him anywhere near the club. Are you out of your fuck? This is what drives me nuts. This fan base wants the 4-wheel drive sports car convertible that looks like a truck. This fan base wants the house that Eddie Murphy was trying to build at Beverly Hills Cop 2, Stan. There's not supposed to be any right angles on this house.
I look at
That's what this fan base wants.
Right? And I'm not saying give the fucking kid a fucking 5-year contract. I'm just saying with how short we are in that midfield area, because we are a little bit short. You're telling me that if he's at the club and he's training and he's doing well and he's injury-free, a pay-as-you-play whereby, had we known 6 months' time we could have 2 injuries in midfield, you're saying that you still wouldn't want him to come off the bench if he's been training up until that point and he's fit and he's deemed, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that we should resign him. I'm not saying that, but I'm just looking at where we are, you know, trying to make the best of a situation. I can't say it enough. I can't stress it enough. I'd give him the half-year contract starting in January because Stan, you mentioned, you did bring up a good point. I don't think he can be registered to play. I think that window has shut, and I think we've registered everybody we can, quite frankly. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong there. And if I am, I'm not sure about that
either way, worst case, can't register him, can't play a game till January. I'd give him the contract for the half a season. At the end of the day, it's only fucking money. It's not my money. So why do I care? He's not going to sit there and command $150,000 a week. He'd probably settle for $40,000 a week. He'd probably take less than what Saka and ESR are making. And I don't know what they're making. Significantly less based on what I assume they're making.
I think Saka earns about 30.
I bet he'd take that. I bet he would take $30,000 a week. I bet he'd take $30,000 a week to be like, yep, okay, I'm training and I'm here on the premise that, look, you've got to earn your way back in. You're not getting in based on sentiment. You're around for depth purposes. And if you show us that you can do it, then you might get an opportunity. I'm not saying he goes straight into the team, but I give him the contract. I'm giving him an opportunity because if nothing else, there's that mentor. There's the guy that everybody bitches about. We don't have. We got a bunch of guys who want to play. They just don't care if they play for Arsenal or not. That dude wants to play for us. And everybody's like, Ryan, tell me how crazy I am.
Well, hold on.
This is a bit, right?
Hang on. Go ahead, Stan.
He signed hold on. I'm looking at Saka. I want to say how much Saka.
Oh.
Just under 6.2 million a year. Not telling me what it is weekly.
Well, what'd you say? So let's take it at
So it's a little over 100,000 because it's 52 weeks in the year. So I don't know how that works. I don't know if you don't get paid in the off season. So I guess I don't know.
I'll be back on that. I'll let me find out.
119,000.
Oh, yeah, he's $33,000 a year.
What's that?
Sorry, $33,000 a week.
Saka, $33,000 a week.
$33,000 a week.
All right, Ryan, go ahead.
This is a bit, right? You guys trying to get viewers and stir stuff up?
I'm giving you my honest opinion. Tell me why you don't take him back. Tell me why you don't take him back.
What do you mean? What do you mean?
We remember taking him back in the circumstances that we presented. We're not saying that we fucking.
I'm not saying you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not saying he's Jack. I'm not saying you're buying the Jack Wilshere.
I'm talking about
6 years ago.
I'm talking about an elastoplast or fucking plaster, as we say in England. Until we can get to Windows or we can do something else, because we are short. Think about it, right? What if Partey and Jack both got injured?
Well, here's a good point here. Mike Mosley needs some midfield cover for the African Nations Cup.
There you go.
Oh my God, I can't believe you guys are actually.
We are short. I'm just saying, right?
No, wait, Stan. I have a much better. I have a better solution to this problem. What we're going to do when Thomas Partey is gone at the Africa Cup of Nations, when Lokonga is hurt or just not getting any playing time, we have
Elneny
will be there as well. Maitland-Niles won't be in the team anymore because I don't know. He'll just have done something. He'll tell Arteta that he banged his wife or something like that. So we're gonna have one midfielder. It's gonna be the one guy in the world that Ryan would actually try to fight in Granit Xhaka, and you still don't want Jack Wilshere in the team.
I would rather have Granit Xhaka start the rest of the season than sign Jack Wilshere.
We didn't say signing
that makes it any clearer.
I don't know what else to say.
So since 2009, 2010, right? He was at Bolton, Bournemouth, West Ham, Bournemouth again. He trained with some league team. Wasn't he supposed to? Or did he train with some Serie B team too? They couldn't sign him.
That's what I mean. It's a body. I'm just talking about.
All right, you know what? Sign me. Sign you. Sign you, Stan. Sign.
I'm just saying as well. You got to remember, right? This guy. I mean, you know, if you looked at his interview, you know, he's the guy wants to play. That's what I'm saying. He's hungry. He is hungry. I think this guy's looking back with a lot of regrets. It's obvious. If you saw his interview, he said he regretted leaving Arsenal. I'm not saying he's the answer. I'm just saying, as an plaster over an open wound, because we are short in midfield, and he's training with us. And it sounds a bit hypocritical because I always say that Arsenal take something that's convenient, but this is about needs must, and we are fucking short in the midfield. And as was pointed out in the chat box, African nations is coming up, man. So, you know,
this fan base, seriously, I think this fan base thinks that we should just not play any games, but be awarded the 3 points and just not have any players because we don't like anybody.
I think this fan base thinks that we need to sign all the old players that love Arsenal. You know, let's bring BFG back. He's
Coquelin. What's Coquelin up to?
Coquelin. Let's get Koscielny back from Bordeaux. I think he misses Arsenal a little bit. Hey, Nacho Monreal, what are you doing? How's it over there in La Liga? Bring him on down. Tony Ives, I think, could kick a ball. Or you know what? I saw Wenger playing in a when did he play in a friendly? Get him, sign him up.
Settle down. I'm telling you right now, people would take that in a heartbeat. Yeah, you're joking about Arsene Wenger. I promise you that if there's somebody out there who's like, I would absolutely sign Arsene Wenger to a player.
What did he play? He played center back, right? When he was professional. I don't even remember what he played. No one knows, man.
I don't know.
I could not. I thought to be fair, I seen it on Twitter. This whole Wilshere thing, and I thought it was a joke. I didn't think this was actual serious talk. And now you guys talking, you're telling me it's not a bit.
He's training at the club.
I'm worried.
He's there.
That's fine. You know? Well, no, I don't think he's there. I think
he's training with Arsenal.
What I heard was
he's training with Arsenal.
I heard Arteta says open door for Jack, and Jack's like, okay, I'm gonna get in touch with Arsenal. But there's no pictures of him on the ground. He's not there yet. I think they're
talking. There are no pictures because he's not technically an Arsenal player.
You'd still have pictures of him. Then they had pictures of Beckham when he was training with Arsenal.
I actually thought I did see a picture, but I might be wrong.
Maybe. I didn't see anything, but I think this is absolute nonsense. I'm actually a little upset.
No, listen, I know
I'm upset.
I don't like to go backwards, but I'm just saying that we are in a situation. Are you telling me that we couldn't have brought in another midfielder in the window? You're telling me that we have got the perfect number of midfielders that we need with an African Nations Cup coming up? No, we're short. We are. So the only alternative is, and I'm not saying it would be a bad thing either, is okay if we can re-register. Well, I mean, is Charlie Patino part of the playing squad? I mean, if we've registered enough players, then we've got enough players. I think how many players we've got to register? 25. Have you registered 25? I don't know. I ain't checked on that. All I'm saying is that if we are a bit short and players are going to the African Nations Cup and Jack Wilshere, it's not, you know what I mean? The guy knows how to kick a ball. I'm just saying, a body to have on the bench or in the background as a second reserve stringer in case somebody goes down. It ain't a bad thing. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not, again, I want to reiterate, I am not advocating signing Jack Wilshere and he goes straight into the starting 11. No, I'm advocating signing Jack Wilshere as a warm body to cover for the very, very, very small amount of depth that we have in midfield.
Yeah, but Boise's saying even Beckham trained with Arsenal for fitness and we never signed him. Different story. Beckham was kind of like in transit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Didn't Beckham train with us because he hadn't had a lot of training, and the club that he was signed to, their league had shut down. So he came to Arsenal while his club was on their close season and done extra training. That's what it was. He already played for a club. He was like just doing extra training, as I understand it. A little bit like when Henri came to us.
I mean, everybody's saying, and I saw I saw a report today that like, okay, well, Arsenal are looking for another midfielder and a striker come the January window.
Yeah, I said. Oh, you weren't here. I said that. Yeah.
Like, okay. Now, Wilshere's not necessarily a defensive midfielder, but where was this in the summer? Why wait? Why all of a sudden did the light bulb go off when it?
We did sign one. We signed Granit Xhaka.
Yeah.
I'm not. I mean,
I know. But I mean, the thing is, for me, we all want players, but then you get a name like somebody would play on relatively low wages, and would be eager to prove himself, because this was a guy that.
How many times has he had the chance to prove himself?
He's 29 years old.
Oh my God.
He's 29.
You're talking about it as if we're trying to say we should be bringing him back in as a fucking
as a starter, as like the linchpin of the club.
No,
we're talking a stopgap thing here. Stopgap thing.
No, I get what you guys are saying. I just could not. I can't believe this is a thing. It's like I'd rather take Granit Xhaka after he just lost a knife fight with Tony, and Tony took his leg. I'd rather take Granit Xhaka with one leg.
I mean, why? I mean, just as much as you hate, why would you say that?
He's not good enough. He's had multiple times to prove himself. He's injury prone. No,
he's injury prone because when he wasn't hurt, he was playing. He was pretty fucking good. Was he ever as good as he was? As good as he was talked up to be? No, he's injury prone. Yeah, that's a big problem. The best ability is availability, and he didn't have it. But it doesn't mean that he's not talented. It doesn't mean he can't hopefully do a job.
He's not.
We don't know because he couldn't stay healthy. You know who he is? You know who he is? He's Thomas Partey.
No, he's not.
Thomas
Partey.
Oh my God! Please.
He's Thomas Rosicky.
No, stop! Oh my!
He's Thomas Rosicky. He's Abu
Dhabi. We are losing viewers by the dozen.
Well, hold on. Whoa. Are you telling me then, right? Other than Jack Wilshere's injury problem, that he was dog shit? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, that's what everybody's saying. That Jack Wilshere was dog shit, and that's just fucking not true.
Who's saying that? Really?
I'm not saying he's dog shit. He's not good enough to play here. He wasn't good enough to play.
Why isn't he good? Why isn't he good enough to play? Tell me when you look at this team right now. Tell me why he's not good enough to play here.
A team that finished 8th.
Not good enough. What do you mean?
Team that finished 8th.
He's not a good footballer.
Employs Granit Xhaka in the midfield. You tell me why Jack Wilshere's not good enough to play here.
He couldn't get minutes in the championship
because he was fucking hurt.
No. He was healthy. He couldn't get minutes in the championship.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I don't get what's the only aspect of Jack Wilshere's game that I want anywhere near Arsenal is I think he could help these younger players, which is what we have a lot of. I think we bring him on as a coach only, to get to these younger players and be like, don't do what I did, and kind of coach them. Maybe not that specific, but kind of just be a mentor, be that guy, because they do respect him. They've Willock, ESR, Saka have all took to social media and have talked up Wilshere. You'll always be one of us, and I like that. And they respect him. God damn it!
Look at that goal that he scored against Norwich. Norwich. Remember that goal, that team goal that he finished against Norwich when he was back in the team?
I sure do.
And what BX was exactly right.
Let me ask you this question.
He would.
Let me give.
The guy have acid reflux.
Let me give you a different scenario. Let me give you a different scenario then. It's Jack Wilshere or no one.
Wait, what?
It's Jack Wilshere or no one. You're not getting another midfielder in January. You're going to get Jack Wilshere for half a year, or you get no one at all.
No one.
You take So
yes.
So barring injury, suspension, you have faith that Thomas Partey can put together a full season healthy, which, by the way, ain't going to be this season.
I mean, he was just hurt, so obviously.
And
That's
yet
what he's back now.
and yet we crucify Jack Wilshere for always being hurt. Yet we spent £50 million on the player that was supposed to turn this team's fortunes around.
He had two injuries.
Hasn't
He's only been here for. I get it. He's injury prone in the sense because
he's been here for how many games has Thomas Partey played out of a possible how many games?
I don't know. It's about to check it out. But but when we signed him, he wasn't injury concern. He only got injured when he came here, and he had two, maybe three injuries since being here.
So that's good. He's been here a year, and that's good. That's not good. That's like your 30 shot. That's like your 30 attempted shots, and you got 2 on target.
I find it stubborn to turn around and say that if it's Jack Wilshere or no one, you would turn around and say
that's not stubborn. I actually liked him as a player. I like him as a person. I like.
I mean, if I told you right now,
you would take no one. You'd rather take no one.
Because we're spending money on paying his wages. We could have that money for something else.
40 grand a week. You're not going to bring in any midfielder.
There's no one.
We need money.
What are you going to do?
I'm going to take that 40 grand a week.
There's no one.
And do what with it? What are you going to do with that 40 grand a week in half a season? What are you going to do?
What do we spend the money on? What? Getting hobnobs instead of digesting?
You're not going to bring in a midfielder that's going to play for 40 grand a week. Period. Forget the transfer fee. You're not going to find a midfielder that's going to come here and play for that kind of money.
Is this Is this what menopause feels like? I'm having hot flashes. I'm sweating.
This is what drives me nuts.
Giggles.
Spend the money on something else. Like what? Fucking
right. Yeah. Spend the money on something else. Bag of balls, Stan. Bag of balls. We need the bag of balls more than we need Jack.
No, it's just money. It's just money that we have.
Better idea, Stan. You know what we should do with that money, Stan? We should upgrade the owner's suite. That's what we should do.
You know what we should do is we should.
You know what? Maybe the owner will be here long enough.
Put it into a hedge fund that gives us a really nice dividend payout each year. I mean, what the fuck?
So based on your logic, right? So
buy baseball cards and then resell them on eBay for a profit.
Why aren't top clubs, or not even top clubs, even middle of the pack clubs, why aren't they signing guys on these free agents? Why isn't this a thing?
You're in a top club. We finished.
I'm saying
because why aren't they after Jack Wilshere? Because he's not a top player.
And we couldn't win off against fucking Brentford in our first game of the season. That's the reality of it. And we need warm.
We beat Norwich. Why is Norwich doing this?
I am not saying that Jack Wilshere starts ahead of anyone in our current lineup, right? But we gave you the option, right? If you want to bring another body in or have nothing,
then you chose nothing. What you just said,
you said that you'd rather have nothing.
Yes.
What you just said was you'd rather not have depth and run the risk of not being able to play someone in midfield than have a body.
That's like saying, Ryan, I'm sorry, Ryan, I can't give you the Ferrari. The options I can give you, I could give you this fucking Yaris, right? Or you can ride the bus. You're like, fuck that. I'm too cool to be seen in a Yaris, man. I'm getting the bus.
No, Stan, not even that. Don't even give them the bus. It's either you can have this car or you can walk.
I have a car. It's just the car. I have 5 cars and they all might run out of gas or they all might break down. And then here's a hoopty. I'm just going to take the 5 cars that I have. How many midfielders do we have? We have at least 5.
To Mike's question, yes, I would.
Oh, that's such a lying. You're lying. Whatever.
He played the way for his original club.
That's such bullshit, and you know it.
The point I'm making is that the window has now shut. Right? We can't bring anyone else in. I believe that we're short in the midfield area, especially with the African nations coming up. Hold on.
Stan, go. I got to take a phone call.
The next part of the equation, Jack Wilshere, he's coming back to train. He's there. He's training, right? He's there. He's playing. We're looking at him close up. All I'm saying is, right, a pay-as-you-play thing. If push comes to shove and we go through some injury crisis, which is known at Arsenal, especially if it happens during the African Cup, we have a pair of legs that may be able to sit on the bench while a Charlie Patino plays ahead of him. But if Charlie Patino does play and he has a fucking nightmare or he gets scythed down, we can at least bring in. That's it. I am not waving a banner and saying that we should fucking sign the guy and give him the number 10 jersey back. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying we're in a shitty situation. We are short in that area. We could have brought in another midfielder.
Are we short though?
He's training at the club. You know what I mean? He can play football to a high level. It's not like saying, well, I'm at the club. Do you know what I mean? I'll sweep up there. I can run. Have me in the midfield and the pay as you play. I'm not saying that. You know what I'm getting at?
So, okay, all right. So, Tana's going crazy. Okay, I'm gonna get my pen out. I'll lick it a little bit. Can we name the midfielders that are right now on Arsenal? I know we have the African Cup of Nations.
We've got Partey, El Nene.
I'm writing it down.
Partey, El Nene, Xhaka,
Lokonga, AMN will be on that list.
Ainsley Maitland-Niles.
So is that's 5. Okay. Right? There's nobody else, right? Okay. Now
you could even throw ESR in there if you wanted to. I'll be generous. You can throw him in ESR. You can throw ESR in.
And can I throw Odegaard there in there? Because they're the same.
You can throw Odegaard in there as well.
I will. ESR. I'm gonna throw Odegaard in there.
You can throw Charlie Patino in there if you really want.
I'm gonna. All right. We're throwing Patino in there. That's what I was gonna say next. Okay, Patino. Can I throw Chambers in there because he plays center defensive midfield?
He's never played in that position for Arsenal ever. Do you know what I mean?
I guess in my
I gave you all them other players. I even put Patino in there, and now you're going to pull a Chambers on me. Come on, that's harsh, man.
I'd rather have Chambers there than Wilshere.
But I'm just saying. In reality,
that is reality. He played. I get it. I understand where you're coming from.
How often did David Luiz play midfield for us?
Ooh. Oh, can I put David Luiz? Oh, he just signed with Flamingo. Never mind. But can we recall? Is there a recall on the sale that we made? No, we released them. No. So the other, I agree.
How many did you write down? Was that 5?
No.
Where is it? 6?
I'm at 8. I'm at 8. Okay. Yeah, but what I will say was the one I'll argue for Chambers. I won't put him down, but the one thing I will argue for is he played center midfielder in the Premier League. I know it's not Arsenal, so it's fine. I won't put him down, but I will leave that out there, put that out for the chat to, I guess, debate. And who I will put down, and you'll probably say no to this, but I'm going to put it down anyway. I'm putting Aziz down because we have a recall option on his loan. And if we have injuries, you bet your damn ass we're going to recall Aziz before we sign Jack Wilshere and think about putting Jack Wilshere on the bench. We're going to
Who are your 8?
All right, ready? It's 9 now because I'm putting Aziz down, and you can't tell me what to do. So we have Odegaard, ESR, Patino, Partey, Elneny, Xhaka, Lokonga, AMN, Aziz. I want to put Chambers down for 10, but Stan said no, so I will not put Chambers down for 10.
I have Chambers down
What's
here.
10?
Oh, man, come on. That's fucking harsh as fuck, putting Chambers in. You know, I think you were Richard Francis says and put... Hang on. Richard Francis says and put Ben White in there too.
Oh, yeah. Ben White.
Really? You're going to do that?
We're putting Ben White in there.
I'm being novel here. You're novel here.
Can we put David Luiz in there?
Partey, Lokonga, Maitland-Niles, Xhaka.
I didn't hear you.
Why not put Mikel Arteta in there? He played in midfield.
Honestly, he'd probably rather play as a player coach than put Wilshere in. I believe that.
Say your list again, but do it slowly.
Okay, ready. I'll go backwards. We have Ben White, Callum Chambers, Miguel Aziz, Patino, AMN, Lokonga, Granit Xhaka, Elneny, Thomas Partey, ESR, and Odegaard.
ESR.
Oh, Tomiyasu played.
Oh, fuck off.
Tomiyasu played CDM too. Tomiyasu.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you right now that here is the problem with at least 4 of these players.
Okay, I'm listening.
We'll start with Patino and Aziz.
Yeah.
They're not going to play. They're just not going to play. I don't. This team will.
Registered.
But Jack Wilshere is not going to play over them.
Question: Is Patino registered in our main squad or not?
Yes.
He is.
I'm not 100% sure, but I'm almost positive he is.
And I can promise you this: that if Charlie Patino plays and we lose that game, the scapegoat is going to be Charlie Patino. The same goes for Miguel Aziz. They're not ready. You know when you can expect to see Charlie Patino? When he's 25 years old, playing for Manchester City.
But Xhaka's not good enough. Sorry, he's not good enough. Jack Wilshere's not good enough. That doesn't change the Jack Wilshere narrative. I get what you're saying, and I agree with what you're saying. It doesn't change it doesn't change. You're saying Jack Wilshere plays in front of any of these 10?
Over. Well,
nuts.
okay.
We actually get to see the physical list there.
It's like a lot of
Oh boy,
Tomiyasu. I mean, I think Aubameyang played there in his youth.
Oh, for fuck's sake! The Gunnosaurus is known to. There you go. Yeah,
I had to bring it back. I had to.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. ESR is. I like it.
This is a serious question. This is a serious statement. Stan, I don't want you to have a heart attack, but this is true. Aaron Ramsdale played center.
I'm looking at myself in my screen. My face is going red.
Yeah. Aaron Ramsdale played center midfield. So, I'm just saying, I could add Ramsdale to this list. This is my list.
I mean, okay, so now if we're off the rails here at this point. This is gonna be a 3-hour long show. This is it when we're talking about for depth purposes. If
my
the option is
my missus just shouted out, no, it ain't.
if the options are a player or no one, and it's for purely depth purposes.
But we don't need a player.
No one.
But we don't need a player. Yes, I say no one. No,
that's dumb. That's the dumbest thing. Just take Wilshere out of take the name away.
Okay.
You're saying player versus no one, and your answer is no one. That's dumb, and that's a fucking stupid opinion. It's a dumb opinion to say no player. I'd rather have no one than player. It's dumb.
We have 10 midfielders. Yes, we don't need anybody. I don't get why. Wait, time out. Why is that dumb?
If there's 10 Ben White at defensive midfielder, and you put Rob Holding or Pablo Mari at the back, and you move Ben White up, and we get thrashed, then what?
Meanwhile, Jack Wilshere's giving out fucking oranges at half time.
I'm just all of
orange.
This whole thing. To me, the whole thing hinges on cutting off your nose to spite your face.
Exactly.
That's what it is.
Exactly.
We're saying now. Do you really want to play Ben White in the midfield? Do you really want to do that?
10 is enough.
Exactly.
No, I don't.
You're making us out to be like we're like petitioning. You're making us out like we're petitioning for Wilshere to be fucking brought back in, start ahead of.
And wait. We're going to give him the captain's armband too, Stan. Fuck it.
Yeah.
But see,
I'm giving. No, wait. I got an even better idea. You know what else we're going to do? We're going to give him a 10% stake in the club.
See, you guys are.
We're going to give him a 10%. He's going to be a 10% owner of Arsenal Football.
You forgot the statue, Tanner.
It's so funny.
Oh, that's already being built.
You guys are wrong. You know you're wrong, so you're making a big joke about it. That's kind of funny.
Making a joke about you're
saying you're giving the armband.
Says the man that wants to play Ben White in midfield
over Jack Wilshere. Yes, over. All right. If anybody in the chat would like to play Jack Wilshere over Ben White in center midfield, come. I'd love to talk to all of you. You're absolutely fucking nuts.
So my extension, what this means is you'd rather play Pablo Mari, Rob Holding, Callum Chambers. Who else do we have that could play at center back over Jack Wilshere in the midfield? Because if Ben White plays, you got to replace him.
Yes. Well, I don't get
it. Man, this is turning into you laughing at me when I suggested Hector Bellerin should play in the midfield because when you look at his heat map, that's where the fuck he's spending most of his time.
I laughed at you one episode and then I agreed with you the next.
That's just because the only reason I said it's because that's what his heat map showed. I wasn't actually advocating for him. Like, fuck, that's crazy. That's where he's playing though. Like that's what he's doing.
But this isn't funny though.
This is like some weird Mandela effect.
Ryan, what we're advocating for Jack Wilshere. Sorry, Stan. Go ahead. I
was saying it's like some kind of Mandela effect. I wake up and like all of a sudden our centre backs are now playing in midfield. Come on, man.
I don't want. Listen. Let me speak real quick. I don't want this to happen. I don't want Ben White to play center midfield for us. But the fact I don't
want Wilshere in our midfield. But there was context, right? Even what we said, and you said that in all of that, you would take no one
Yes,
one.
because we have 10. We have 10.
You know what? No, we don't. No, we don't. No, that's stupid. That's a dumb argument to say that.
It's not a dumb-
If he doesn't get paid, but if he doesn't get paid,
everybody's agreeing with me in the chat. So obviously I kind of know what I'm doing.
You literally are cutting off your nose to spite your face to say that I'd rather have all of these players play than
instead
him.
of Jack Wilshere. Yes, because they're all better than him.
Well, first of all, he's not a defensive midfielder, which was what Ben White.
I said center mid.
Callum Chambers wasn't a center mid. He was a defensive midfielder. Ben White was a defensive midfielder.
We said center mid. We didn't specify because then I wouldn't put Odegaard in ESR. But
Odegaard in ESR. Yeah, it's a.
What are we talking here?
You're talking defensive midfield.
We are or we're not?
Wilshere was never a defensive midfielder.
I didn't say he was. But
why is Ben White on the list? Why is Callum Chambers on the list?
Center midfielders. We didn't specify center defensive or attacking midfielder. We just said center midfield.
I would put him in the category positionally in the category of Partey, Lokonga, Maitland-Niles. I would not put him in the same category as Odegaard. Yeah, Xhaka. Yeah.
Not Partey or Aziz.
I said Partey.
I said Patino.
I don't know where Aziz is playing.
He's at Portsmouth right now.
No. Like position because he was a defensive midfielder. He was a defensive midfielder for us.
He's a center mid.
But he sort of seems to be moving forward up the pitch now.
Portsmouth said they want to give him a more attacking role. I don't know what they're going to do.
He played a more attacking role in preseason for us, did he not?
In Europa League, he played more defensively for
us.
But in preseason,
I don't know where he's fitting into that scheme. The point is this, and this is done because this is a bit of a silly debate to have. But
I know because I don't know why
what Jack Wilshere to me would be is the fire extinguisher in the case on the wall. In case of emergency, break the glass.
Yeah, we have 10 of those. Or not even okay, now I guess
we don't have 10. We don't have 10. We have Partey, Lokonga, Partey, Lokonga, Maitland-Niles, Xhaka. I'll throw El Neni in there, even though he is more of a defensive midfielder. If you think that this club is going to call back Miguel Aziz from a loan spell, you're
overplaying Jack Wilshere? Yes,
I do think they will.
I do think they will.
They won't. I'm telling you, there's a fee in there to pay, and they wouldn't pay the fee when they could give Jack Wilshere $40,000 a week. Now, a lot of people are saying in the chat that why would we not just go buy someone? Well, you're absolutely right. Why wouldn't we go buy someone? But we didn't. We had 3 fucking months and we didn't do it. So why would we do it now? Like why would we wait?
The money? We might not have the money to buy someone. Mikel Arteta spent how much in the transfer window and how much maybe that's the road's dry.
The one thing I will say is after the African Cup of Nations starts January 9th. So if we know El Neni's gone, we know Partey is gone, we're going to buy somebody. We're not signing.
Why would you? But okay.
So what if we don't sell anyone? What if we don't sell anyone? Where's the money coming from? How do you know we've got that money? I was surprised at the money.
How do we have money to pay for Jack Wilshere's wages?
Did you think that we were going to spend the money we spent in that window? Did you think we had that to spend? Because we got no money coming in. That was all gross. Most of that was gross. There was no net.
You did say Roma is signing Xhaka in January.
Yeah, I'd love it. But let's just say, though, we don't know, right? We thought that we were going to sell so many people in that last window, and we didn't, and we spent a bundle.
We knew, but we knew in the summer. It's not like all of a sudden AFCON just dropped the bombshell. Oh, hey, guess what? We're going to play the tournament in January.
Yeah,
this didn't just happen. They knew. So why would you wait till January when you need? This is my car ran out of gas. Now I'm going to go put gas in the car. If you knew the car was running out of gas, why'd you wait till it was empty to go put the fucking gas in?
Mine isn't run out of gas. I'm pushing it off the cliff. Then I'm walking.
Well, things just change. Like injuries could happen. I think the only way we sign center midfielder is if injuries happen. Or we're looking to move someone on like a
we're losing Partey and El Neni for a month, and we know we're losing them, and we didn't sign anyone to take that role up in the summer. And now you think they're going to do it in January?
I think we could. I'm not saying we're gonna. We definitely could.
Well, of course we could.
Deals happen. It's like waiting till the end of the transfer window. The transfer window, towards the end of the transfer window, you get better deals. If you wait till January, you may even get a better deal.
But no, you don't, because now everybody else knows that you're scrambling to get that deal done. You're not going to get a better deal. The time to do that deal from a purely business standpoint.
Did we not sign Partey in January?
No.
Who do we just signed as a midfielder in January, like a couple of years ago. Am I
It
going
was
crazy?
it was Odegaard last January. No, RT was done in it was August. I mean, it was August.
Oh, was it the last day? He was deadline day, right?
It was the last. It was deadline day.
Yeah, I'm like not.
But my point is that if we're in a position as a club, everybody in the world knows, dude. Look at the three of us. These three jerk offs sitting here right now know that Arsenal need another midfielder come January because we're going to lose 2 to AFCON, and we're going to be left with 3 bona fide midfielders that are going to play where we're talking about. So it's going to be Lokonga, Maitland-Niles, and Xhaka. That's who's left.
Oh, I'd probably go as far as to say that when all of this was going down, the reason Aziz got a callback in his loan was because they were probably thinking of that. However, they didn't factor in that Jack Wilshere was going to be at the club training. Now they're probably thinking, well, we've got him on loan, but we've got if he can start showing some quality in training, and it comes to that. Remember the caveat: if it comes to that. Yeah, Ryan listed 10 fucking players, right? Ramsdale and everybody.
But that like 13.
What I'm saying is, right? Are you saying that you don't want to have a number 11? He's training. He's on a. If he doesn't play, he doesn't get paid. Pay as you play. So if he continues training and all of those people that you ruled off get their chance, fine. What I'm trying to say is there any harm in if push comes to shove? And we're caught in a tight spot, your man's right there. And if he's on a pay as you play and he stinks up the place, then he don't play again. He doesn't get paid again. But as somebody else said in the chat, and I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was. I have to scroll back. Jack Wilshere is still a quality player. I'm sorry. He ain't a shit player. He's not shit.
I'll
guy that's had several England camps. This guy, he can play football. Better than me, better than you, better than anyone in the fucking chat box.
I will maybe take one step back from what Stan just said, and I'll say there's a quality player in there. We need to find it.
And he's only 28, like Coleman said.
29. He's 20, but still, he's a 29-year-old midfielder who couldn't stay healthy.
Is that his peak then? That's his peak.
I mean, he should be. Yeah, I mean, all things considered, he should really be. He should really be on that first step down from being at the peak of his career.
I like Lone Star shouting, like, Jack Wilshere played 14 times in 114 games in 3 years for West Ham. Pay as you play. Exactly. If he can't play for us, then he ain't going to get paid.
He's not going to get paid. So what's the harm?
Get paid. If we've got players that are fit and ahead of him,
I can't believe we're having
he ain't going to play. He won't get paid, Lone Star. My argument is, if push comes to shove and we ain't got enough bodies, why would we fucking go to that? Why would we do something like put somebody out of position, especially somebody that's new to our club, play them out of position, they have a terrible game.
We've done that so many times before.
But he never had Jack Wilshere training with him, who we could maybe turn to in a dire situation.
Oh my God.
We're not Man City, we're not Man United. We're a team that finished 8th. He happens to be training at the club. If he's training badly, he won't play. You're missing the point. I'm not saying, Lone Star, put the drink down. I'm not saying that we fucking buy him and give him the armband. Right. You're missing. You're over-egging it. Yeah. What I'm saying.
I mean, again, it's in case of emergency, break glass, and it would have to be. It would be for me. It would be a situation where. Yes, we're on the verge of recalling Miguel Aziz. We're on the verge of having to move Ben White into the midfield. That's the type of emergency we're talking about here. Yeah. The fact is that 2 of our most prominent midfielders, yes, I'm putting El Neni in that category, are leaving of their own accord to go play for their nations in AFCON in January, which leaves us real thin in the midfield. I personally, and this also stems from I don't have faith in Arteta to make the right decisions for this club. So, yep, because of
we're definitely going to sign him. Then you're right,
because of some of the decisions that he has made in the past. I don't think he would put Maitland-Niles in there unless it were an absolute dire emergency.
Put him where?
In the midfield.
He did it against Norwich.
I just trust me when I tell you. Let's see how long this goes.
How long?
I would bet you by the next international break, not the next one because there's one in October. By the November international break, I bet you Maitland-Niles is out of the team again. I'll bet you a nickel. I bet you a nickel. Maitland-Niles can't get off the bench. He'll get a shirt, but he can't get off the bench for Mikel Arteta. I'll bet you a nickel.
I mean, if Lukonga and Partey are healthy, then yeah, you're right. They're not. He's not. That's a dumb fucking bet.
But I'm talking even in the games. If we continue to progress in the League Cup, he doesn't get a shout against any of those lesser tier opponents either.
Yeah, they're both Lukonga and Partey have a.
So just play him till the wheels fall off. There's no such thing as rotation.
Xhaka's gonna be back, and you know how he loves Xhaka. So yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be Xhaka and Partey for the NLD. You know that. I mean, let's just put that to bed now. You know, Xhaka is going to start the North London derby, right? So
I don't want to talk about that.
So now that puts Lukonga further down, which puts Maitland-Niles further down. Again, at the end of the day, the point with Wilshere, he's a warm body, and it's in a case of emergency kind of thing. That's all it is. That's all it is. If you're telling me that no body is better than a body, that's
we have
dumb.
bodies, but you're saying we don't have bodies. We have bodies. Like that's what you're not getting.
So if your opinion is you would rather play my 12-year-old dog in midfield than Jack Wilshere, then God bless you. It's a stupid opinion, but
I'd rather play Ben White in there instead of Jack Wilshere. Yes.
I'm just looking at Lone Star's comment. He's like, Tony, you fit for Saturday?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's where we are right now. You'd rather have Tony in there.
All kidding aside, I would not. Sorry, Tony. I would not rather have Tony. But we have players under contract right now that we're paying weekly wages to, whether it's their position or not, or they've played there before. They're better suited to play center midfield for Arsenal Football Club than Jack Wilshere. Yes, he could improve his worth with at least 4 different clubs. 3 of those clubs we are levels ahead of. West Ham I won't include in that because West Ham are better than us. I will concede that. But he couldn't make it at 4 clubs. What makes you think? And I get it. He's not making it. He's just a body. I get it. What? But like, why? I guess I don't understand. It's okay. I guess I'll leave it at this. This is the last time I'm gonna even talk about it. I don't know if you guys have seen this episode. I think I brought this podcast. Whatever. I don't know if you guys seen this episode of South Park. There's an episode of South Park where Kenny gets a girlfriend. And Kenny's like, oh, this girl's awesome. She like rubs my wiener behind the Blockbuster. That's like part of the show, actually, what they say. And he takes her to Jonas Brothers. He takes her to a Jonas Brothers concert. And they're singing, and his girlfriend gets called backstage, and all the girls are talking like they're behind backstage. Like, I'm not gonna suck his dick. We're not gonna do that. No, like we're not hoes. Da, da, da. The Jonas Brothers walk out to meet these like lucky fans that get to go backstage, and their mouths just pop open.
I knew this is where that was going.
You and Stan are the girls, their mouths popping open, and the Jonas Brothers are Jack Wilshere. Thank you, everybody.
Have a good night. If we were saying that we wanted to sign the guy,
it's 100% true. I'll actually, Stan, you might not be. It's definitely you.
Putting that in context.
Yeah, I am. We don't need midfielders. We don't need any. Even with I know 2 that are leaving, we do not need them. If we really need somebody, we'll recall Aziz or we'll sign somebody in January.
And when that happens, you'll be bitching about that too.
Yeah, obviously. We podcast about Arsenal. Why would I not be bitching?
That's the thing. That's the thing. Like, I get that the negativity, gets clicks and everything, but I don't want to be negative. I don't want to come on here and be this negative all the time.
I'm not negative. What negative? You want to sign fucking Jack Wilshere?
Listen, if you want to win the negativity space, you just get fucking Lee Gunner on, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that dude just.
I would like to know if he would like to sign Jack Wilshere. I bet you he does.
I can't imagine
Shots
hating
fired.
a team so much that I go out and buy their merchandise. Like, I mean, like, God bless him. That dude plays the role to a fucking T.
Who's that?
Lee Gunner. I mean, he clearly fucking hates Arsenal. He's got to be a Spurs fan in disguise. I mean, he has to be. but he goes out and he spends all this money on their merchandise, and then he bitches about buying the people who buy the merchandise.
I saw the video. It was very funny.
I ain't going to go there. I don't know the guy. I don't listen to his content. Each to their own. Internet's big enough for everybody.
We are at almost 3 hours. Stan, I know you have to run. It's almost 1 a.m. here on the East Coast. And I think I've got
Damn it.
Kenzie, enough, please. I have a dog licking the bed right now. So, Stan, final word, please, on this episode of Same Old Arsenal USA.
Good chat. We've been away for a week. Good chat. I really
had to get 2 episodes in one this week, right?
Yeah. We had a good chat. And thanks to everyone that came into the chat box. Some new names in there as well that I haven't seen before. Coleman Maloney looks familiar, but maybe from another chat box. Mike Mosley I've seen around before, maybe not in our chat box. But thank you to everyone that came in, and good footy chat. I really enjoyed it tonight, and I'm looking forward. Just want to say I'm really looking forward to the next game, because for me, that last game against Norwich, I think the good phrase for it, I would say, there were green shoots. Some green shoots. So I want to see those continue to grow, and I want to see us. As I say, I'd be happy with a draw if it's a hard-fought draw. Don't get me wrong. I want all 3 points. But I will take a draw if it's hard-fought.
Good stuff, Ryan. Final thought.
Yeah, everything Stan says. I think there was a lot of positive takeout of our game against Norwich. I think it's baby steps. I'm not saying we're going to compete for top 6, top 4 right now. We're not there yet, but it's baby steps. We need to be taking small steps. And with a new team like this, or all these new signings, step in the right direction. And I'm excited. It sucks because I want to be excited for Bournemouth, but I'm really dreading looking at our starting 11 against the Scum. The Xhaka's in that lineup, man. I don't know what I'll do. But, yeah, I think I agree with Stan in the fact that I do want a 1-1 draw if it's hard fought, because I do think that Burnley are going to put us on our asses. And if I don't believe these refs are going to help us out. I mean, they help us out, but they're not gonna. I don't know what the word is.
They're gonna let Burnley be physical.
They're gonna let Burnley be Burnley, and we're the softest team in the Premier League. So I'm nervous. I don't know. I hope we fight hard, and if we fight hard and can keep up with them, I will not be upset with a 1-1. I won't be, even though I agree with what Tanner and Rohan were saying about the 1-0. I just think Burnley are so physical, and the refs are just going to turn a blind eye. So yeah, and I agree with you, Lone Star, who is my biggest supporter today, and I appreciate you, Lone Star. And a big shout out to Stan holding this podcast up while Tanner was gone. You did good, Stan. I'm proud of you, buddy. And also, too, real quick.
I was running on fumes, mate. I was like, Tanner.
I also just wanted to say, big loss in the comedy community. I'm a big Norm Macdonald fan.
Norm Macdonald,
yeah.
Tell me about that, please. I've seen that about. I don't recognize the name. Can you give me some background on this, please?
He does the man. He did one iteration of the Man Show. He was Burt Reynolds in Celebrity Jeopardy.
Made a name for himself on Saturday Night Live. He hosted Weekend Update for a long time.
This is not Arsenal then, okay?
No.
Oh, okay.
Like before the podcast started, like before we all jumped in, I was watching Best of Turd Ferguson. And if you guys don't know who Turd Ferguson is, you need to look it up on YouTube. Great SNL sketch with Celebrity Jeopardy. But yeah, shout out to Norm, and rest in peace, buddy.
Here. I'll try to make it quick. First of all, thank you, Stan and Ryan, for carrying the show tonight for the first hour plus while I was out searching for my phone. All's well that ends well on that front. Hopefully, Kenzie will be okay with the with the hole that she has in her side right now. This thing is it's pretty big. So I did call the emergency vet and just get their opinion on everything. They told me that she should be okay overnight, keep it clean, which I will do. And on that note, real quick, if you will, humor me for a moment. In the description after the show will be the link to a petition to free the Marshall Bioresources Beagles. And if you don't know what this is, Marshall Bioresources is an American-owned company. They have an office or a facility in, I believe it's Huntington, Cambridge.
It's a laboratory, right?
Yeah, well, it's they breed beagles to be sold to companies who test on them.
Okay. So they're the suppliers to the laboratories.
Well, so right, the facility that they have in Huntington, Cambridgeshire, is basically just a breeding ground for the beagles. There's a group, you can follow them on Twitter. It is @CampBeagle. You can follow them on Instagram. Same, it's @CampBeagleOfficial on Instagram, I believe. But it's and nobody wants to see it. And I actually thought about putting the video up tonight and just playing it. You don't want to see this. What they do to these dogs is beyond heinous. I will equate it to the movie Hostel. If you've ever seen, I've never seen any other than the first two. I know there are multiple. If you've seen either of the first two Hostel movies, think about that. That's basically what they do to these dogs. It is nothing short of torture. And then when they're done with them, they simply euthanize them and just kill them. But it's not that they don't suffer, because they suffer pretty much every day of their lives. From 16 weeks of age, they are shipped off in vans to laboratories to be tested upon. And it's disgusting. I absolutely hate it. And just get involved in any way you can, please. It's important to me. Simply sign the petition. It takes 30 seconds. That's all I ask. The link will be in the description. Please follow these folks on their various social media handles, which I will post in the description as well. Doesn't cost you any money. Just simply support. That's all it is. We want to get this place shut down. We want to free the dogs that are in this facility right now, get them out of there, get them adopted into foster homes, and knowing what love feels like, because that's all these dogs want. It's the reason that they've chosen beagles. Because if you watch a video, even after all of the torture that they go through the day before, the next morning, these people show up at work, flip the lights on, go to get these beagles out of their pens, and all they're doing is wagging their tail because they just want someone to love them. And I'm going to stop there before I get more emotional than I already am. Gentlemen, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. Excellent job tonight. Thank you very much. Thank you everybody in the chat. Really appreciate you guys. It was very spirited tonight. It was a good time. Glad to be back in the seat chatting Arsenal with everyone. And that is it for us. We will see you guys next week. On to Burnley, up the Arsenal. Good footy talk, guys. We'll see you out there.